11 weeks, 13 races, 8 countries later, the RSRA SuperSeries reaches its final stop for Season 2 of the 2021 season, the virtual Mt Panorama Bathurst. No better place to end a supercar season than here. Tonight, champions will be crowned as we welcome you to SimShed Broadcasting's live and exclusive coverage of the Goodyear Autocare Warana Bathurst SuperSprint, the final round, the 12th and final round of the Real Sim Racing Australia Super Series, and the third and final leg at the Melbourne Hydrographics Depot Triple Crown as well. Great to have your company. Sorry, my apologies. DSL Welding, of course. I'm getting Season 1 and Season 2 mixed up. Good evening, everybody. Nice to have your company wherever you're tuning in on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting and Real Sim Racing Australia. Welcome to the virtual Mt Panorama Bathurst. Welcome to the 12th and final round of the season. A double header tonight. I think I said 13 races down. It's actually 12. Race 13 coming up in a matter of minutes, and then 14 after that. And to get through a double dose of mountain magic, we've assembled the band back together. Matt Davis is here, Chris Kisby as well. It's Dylan Rudd's championship to lose. There's a couple of people that have a point to prove that aren't in championship contention. And what's more, strategy comes into play in so many respects tonight, because in the second race, we're reversing the order of the race one finishing order, and we have our first and final reverse grid race on Mt Panorama for the year, and we cannot wait for that. Matt Davis, I'm going to start with you. Good evening. Great to have you back in the booth in the prime slot of the RSRA Super Series. So much to be excited about tonight, particularly the potential, let's call it carnage, that goes with reverse grid racing on this concrete canyon.
Zach, good evening to you, mate. Chris Kisby and JP, good evening to you both and everybody, wherever you're watching from around the world. It's good to be back on Tuesday nights, finally. Wednesday nights has been keeping me quite cozy over there with the RSRA Super 2 E-Series. But thought we'd get the band back together. The boys are back in town for what better race than Bathurst, and then to throw it in the mix, a super sprint with a reverse grid at the end of the night. And who'd think we'd be having a reverse grid race at Bathurst? I mean, it's really going to be testing Dylan Rudd tonight. If he does take out first position in the first race, he's got a hell of a lot of work to do to make his way up through the field. And what more of a challenge than Mt Panorama in New South Wales? Indeed.
We're going to bring you the last couple of minutes of qualifying in just a moment. Let's rip through all the housekeeping first, though. Chris Kisby, good evening to you. Mate, we've been sitting here pretty well for the last 11 weeks. This is now week number 12. We've been virtually continent hopping all across the world, 7 different countries. But there's something that just feels right about finishing a season at this joint.
Oh, look, the Dipper, the Chase, Murray's Corner, Hell Corner. Good evening to you, Zach. Good evening, Matt, JP, and everyone from around the world. The Cutting, Quarry Corner. Where else would you want to be on the final night of racing in Australia? But yeah, we've watched these guys all over the world. We've been absolutely gobsmacked with the way these guys have raced all over the world. And the two that have the least to worry about, Sean McNamara, Rada Costello sitting second and third. So it's going to be an absolute cracking race tonight, Zach.
Indeed it is. Now, there's a fourth member of our broadcast crew. He's the man that's bringing you all the action on screen. His name is JP, and earlier this week he clocked a lap of Mt Panorama, and it's the hot lap that we're about to bring you as we give you an insight into what these drivers are in for over the next 2 hours. The best 6.213 kilometres in Australian motorsport. Go for it, JP. It's all yours.
Welcome to Mt Panorama Bathurst. This 6.21 kilometre, 23-turn track situated at Bathurst in New South Wales is the mecca of Australian motorsport. With 174 metres between the highest and lowest points, this track demands 100% focus. So strap yourselves in and join me on board the 888 Goodyear Autocare Warana ZB Holden Commodore as we go for a hot lap of this iconic track. So I'm looking for a clean exit out of Murray's Corner, on the power early, moving to the right of the track, down pit straight, lining up the 100-metre board where I brake, lead off the brake, turn in early into Hell Corner, use all of the track on exit on the power early, and we're heading up Mountain Straight. Take a deep breath, tighten up those virtual belts, move the car to the left of the track, make sure not to bounce the car on the rev limiter, nice and smooth shifts. I'm looking for the 100-meter board here going into Quarry Bend, down into second gear, short shift into third gear, use all of the track on exit. Move the car to the right of the track now, turning in, shifting down into second gear as close as I can to the wall and the cutting now. On the power early, a little lift and short shift to third at Griffin's Mount. Turn in at the tree here, going into Reed Park, balance the car on the throttle, and we're on our way to Sulman Park and the brake. Line up the brake, dab the brakes to help the car turn in on the power early, get over close to the wall. Use this triple strip as my turn in marker. Car goes light, be patient. On the power as soon as you feel the car grip up. That skyline done. Now into the S's. Balance the car on the throttle as close as I can to the wall here. Down into the dipper on the power early. Take a deep breath. We're on our way to Forest Elbow. Third gear. Now I shift to second gear. Down to first gear. Balance the car on the brake. Turn in early. Into second gear early. On the power. Onto Conrod Straight. And now we need some clean gear shifts all the way down Conrod Straight to maximise our top speed. That first chance to take a break all lap, but it's not over yet. Screaming on the rev limiter as we go into the chase. Line up the chase nicely, straighten up, hard on the brakes. Now we shift down, fourth, third, second gear, early turning, on the power, early shift to third gear, back on the power again, use all the track. We're heading down into Murray's Corner now at the 100-meter board, braking into Murray's Corner. Don't hit the ripple strip, on the power early, and that is a hot lap of Mt Panorama. Back to you guys.
Excellent lap there from our good friend JP. You'll hear from him a little bit later in the broadcast as we mark the end of the season. Program note as well at the end of the broadcast with regards to the Super 2E series. Much like tonight, you're going to get two for the price of one with them this week as well, but in a very different way. Let's have a look at the championship points, and the equation is pretty simple for Dylan Rudd as we come into the 12th and final round. Simply finish. He can wrap it up in the first race tonight, and he's on track to extend his lead to 147 points at the end of this qualifying session by virtue of the fact that he is the fastest on track at the moment by 0.2 of a second on Sean McNamara. He leads 16.62 plays, 1,520 for Rehan Leonage, 14.68 for Jamie Dyke, 11 clear of Dylan Pereira. So again, we've got a situation here, guys, where we're going to be watching positional battles up and down the top 10, and the reverse grid race could wreak havoc with what you see on the screen right here and now. Also, the internet as well. Our dear friend Dylan Pereira sitting there in fourth, trying to wrestle third back in the championship. Had an internet dropout a short while ago, desperately trying to get that fixed to get back in the fight tonight. And it'd be so disappointing to see all his hard work come undone in the final round through reasons beyond his control. Peter Crossingham, 13.79. So it's a long gap from fourth back to fifth. But then look at those positional battles. Only, 74 points between fifth and 10th. So all that could get jumbled up tonight. 13.49 for Court, 13.34 for Dean Reddit, Matt Davis as co-commentator on a Wednesday night, 13.25 for Simon Chadwick, 10 back to Dean Alessi, 10 back to Craig Schultz. Over the page we go. 12.71 for Matty Scholes in a battle with Brian Cooper, 3 points back, and then a big gap back to Aaron Dodd, who is 7 clear of Sean McNamara. So all those two guys are out of contention. They can have a real crack tonight because they don't have a championship to worry about. That's the exciting part here. Mitch Campbell makes up the top 15 on 11.93. Now, two championships get decided tonight because it's the final round of the Blue Stampede Labour Hire Triple Crown here as well. Matt Davis is going to run us through. Sorry, DSL Welding. I've got it wrong again. My apologies to... I'm having a...
You're on a roll tonight, aren't you, Zach?
But all the sponsors are at least getting a plug. That's one thing. No, DSL Welding. Matt Davis, you're going to have a look at those points for us now, mate, because two champions will be crowned tonight.
Yes, definitely two champions will be crowned. The DSL Welding Triple Crown Championship. And what better way to wrap it up at Bathurst right now? And we're ahead by 10 positions here, JP. So we can scroll back one page. And we can start off with, obviously, Dylan Rudd, our Triple Crown Championship leader at the moment. But Rian Lienage in charge of that. Can he make up the ground tonight and take away first position from Dylan Rudd and secure himself at least one championship? We'll have to find out. Wait and see in a few minutes' time, ladies and gentlemen. Alex Court in third, Jamie Dyke in fourth, Matty Scholes in fifth there, Benny Morris, Dylan Pereira, Simon Chadwick, Peter Crossan in ninth, and Dean Reddit rounding out your top 10 there, ladies and gentlemen. Then Craig Schultz, Chris Barnes, Alan Dawson, Mitch Campbell, Dean Alessi, Brian Cooper, Sam Noble, Lindsay Hobbs, Ash Davis, Jacob Brewer with 200 points, rounding out the top 20 there, ladies and gentlemen. And there is a few more down the road. But, mate, Zach, Chris, this is going to be definitely interesting for the Triple Crown tonight. It's anybody's game within the top three.
It certainly is, mate, and particularly of interest there for mine, Chris Kisby, is the battle between Dylan Rudd and Rihan Lienage for the Triple Crown. So whilst Rihan might fall short of the overall championship tonight, if he gets a better result than Dylan Rudd overall for the round, he could steal the Triple Crown at the death. So, I mean, we could have two different champions. We could have Dylan Rudd do the double. And Alex Court's going to be an interesting fight with Jamie Dyke as well for third place in that Triple Crown fight as well. Exciting times.
Yeah, that's right, Zach. Yeah, it's look, Rehan and Dylan have fought it out most of the season in the absence of Rayner, and it had made it a big three-way go there. But very interesting to see. Personally, I'd really love to see Rehan take this one out at the Triple Crown and just pip him at the post there. But yeah, all eyes on the main event, and Dylan Rudd basically just got to stay in front of Rayner and the others. Sean, Rayner, let them go if he wants to. Just stay in front of Rehan. So it'll be interesting to see where the tactics play, how it all plays out. If they get into a tussle at the front there, does he just let them go and make sure he stays in front of second? Or does he really want to win at Bathurst? I know we'd all want to win at Bathurst, but what's got to come first, a win at Bathurst or the championship?
Matt Davis, your thoughts?
I actually wasn't paying too much attention there. I was actually just reading your message there about the sponsors for the Triple Crown. Right. Oh, look, it's anybody's game tonight. Unfortunate for Dylan Pereira, he's going to be missing out on third tonight with that internet issue that he's having. And I mean that's the big tail sign of this season as well is that the U-picks of the NBN industry, as we like to call them, Zach, they've been wreaking havoc on every single driver, not just in the Super Series, but in the Super 2 E Series as well. So I'd love to see Rehan take out the Triple Crown. He needs at least one championship under his belt. I've watched him come up last season in the Division 2, and he was a force to reckon with. And this season, he's really kept his head cool. And unfortunate that Rayner Costello had to drop out midway through the season. But Rehan's really stepped up to the plate and shown these guys that age is only a number, and that anybody can turn the wheel of a V8 supercar with enough practice. And I mean, Rehan's had the practice there. He's got the last season's champion winner in the hot seat right next to him, teaching everything he knows.
All I can say, mate, is don't give Rehan a racing licence.
No, he'd be a force to reckon with, that's for sure, wouldn't he, Kisby?
At this point, I need to do two things. I need to have a look at the track info sheet, and I also need to express that for reasons beyond our control, known as broadcasting standards, I can't elaborate on what UPIC means at this particular point in time. 6.213 kilometre circuit, Mt Panorama. We know it, we love it. 16 laps for race 1, 26 for race 2, 260.95 kilometres is the race distance when you combine those two together. 50 kilometres an hour is the pit lane speed limit, 79.2 litre fuel restriction, which will mean a pit stop in the second race, but we'll leave you in suspense as to when that might unfold. 4.77 litres a lap is the fuel burn around here. 2 sets of tyres, again, something that will become an issue in the second race. The set they start on, and then a set that they may be able to take in pit lane, but the key to that will be avoiding the need to come in and repair your car. So avoiding the walls, avoiding crashes is going to be key to having a fresh set of tyres to play with at the right end of town tonight. 7th of September 2021, 2 o'clock is the race start time for race 1. I think 4 o'clock is the server time for race 2. The air temp, they're having a tremendous pull-up. They think a spring day in Bathurst is going to reach 25 degrees this early in spring, let me tell you. 29 degrees on track, however, and 24 kilometre an hour easterly winds. So it's blowing a gale on the mountain at the moment. And, of course, the circuit is actually South Bathurst. So the northern end of the circuit is the main straight. The southern end is the top of the mountain. So the easterly will be coming along the Conrod Straight there. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects the drag and draft down Conrod. Let's have a look at the grid for race one because cars are lining up and we don't have much time to spare when we get into these sprint race formats, ladies and gentlemen. Race one of grand final night is here. Crack open a cold, kick back and relax because this is going to be well worth the price of admission. Dylan Rudd on the front row alongside Sean McNamara. From row two, Rainer Costello and Rehan Leonage. So you got your championship combatants and a couple of blokes that can throw caution to the wind sitting right there in the front two rows. Aaron Dodd, Cameron Jones, similar situation, third row, not in championship contention. Michael Angus, Jamie Dyke, Ben Morris, Simon Chadwick, Kai Turner and Peter Crossingham make up row 6. 7, Robert Crisdale, David Kirby. 8, Craig Schultz, Sam Noble. 9, Brenton Nitschke, Matthew Scholes. 10, Rick Sibber and Dean Alessi. 11, Hayden Norris, Brian Cooper. 12, Dean Powell and Dean Reddit. 13, Jacob Brewer, Lindsay Hobbs. 14, Alan Dawson and Chris Barnes. 15, biggest field we've had in a couple of weeks here, Rod Hollis. Unfortunately, Dylan Pereira. I don't think he's going to be a starter, given that he wasn't able to clock a time in qualifying. And that is so unfortunate for him, given the position that he is in the championship. But where misfortunes creep in, it presents a tremendous opportunity for Jamie Dyke and a couple of others to really throw caution to the wind here tonight. Tip, boys, for race one quickly before we get underway.
Oh, I was just about to quickly mention as well. We rushed through the grid, and the drivers for the first time all season to decide to dilly daddle and get the time on the grid. But race pick tonight. Look, you can't go past Dylan Rudd, really, can you?
Rainer.
No.
Dylan Rudd, race one, I reckon.
Rainer.
As always, and Chris Kisby's been very loyal to Rainer all throughout the season, even though he hasn't been here for 6 weeks. Let's wait and see what unfolds here, ladies and gentlemen. The Goodyear Autocare Warana Bathurst SuperSprint. The end of Season 2. For 2021, the RSRA SuperSeries Grand Final, and it's a 9.5 Sim Sport lockout of the front row. They're gone. Great start from Dylan Rudd. Look at Rainer Costello fighting down on the inside. McNamara chops across to block off the passing move. As they hit hell corner for the first time, but Costello forced the issue on the outside as they held mountain straight, and Costello will get the job done on the run to turn 2. Ribbons, then they go. Rehan Leonage in that position where he needs to find a dance partner and pick a lane and stick to it. He goes with Costello, but he's going to have to tuck in behind McNamara. I think you'll find. They force the issue to 2. McNamara hangs tough on the outside, not compromises the run out. They're both sideways, and here comes Leonage up to 3rd. And a good charge up there on the outside as well, as they hit the cutting for the first time from Aaron Dodd up to 4th. Cameron Jones slots into 6th. Michael Angus 7th. Sean McNamara has dropped 3 positions in the first sector of the second, and we've got trouble at the cutting.
Wow. Now, what teamwork at the start there to try and keep Rainer out of it there. That was absolutely brilliant. He couldn't do it, though.
Now, let's wait and see what's unfolded at the cutting, and if that's going to trigger a safety car this early. For sprint racing, it won't matter because there'll be no need for a pit stop in these first 16 laps. It's the 26 lapper that they've got to worry about for strategy. Conrod straight for the first time. Dylan Rudd leads them down to the chase. The fastest corner for Australian motorsport. This is what happened. Matthew Scholes down the inside. Oh, no. That was never going to end well. 1, 2, 3, and yeah. Thankfully, they've been able to clear that out and keep the race green. But those guys are compromised from the outset for the rest of this race. The advantage of that, though, Matt Davis, is hello reverse grid.
Reverse grid race, those guys might be getting a, depending on how far they can actually catch up to the field by the time they sort themselves out there, the boys are already across the top of the mountain, especially Dylan Rudd. He absolutely blitzed it across the top of the mountain on cold tyres and took him down Conroy's track for the first time. But Rainer Costello not letting them go. Big lock up though there by 408, which I believe might be Benny Morris.
Oh, no.
Benny Morris had a little bit of risk going up Mount Scroat there.
Back to
Rainer Costello
12th
catching up
he
to
goes.
Rudd.
Back to 12th goes Ben Morris after this incident that you're going to see on the NTS replay on the run to turn 1. The car already looked worse for wear on the right-hand side as they came into turn 1. And he's got
Is that a bit of a wiggle?
He's got balked by the car in front, which was Simon Kai Turner, I think you'll find.
Yes.
That's what's balked him on the exit of turn 1. We ride on board with Sean McNamara, sitting there in 5th at the moment, looking up the road to Aaron Dodd. No, it's Simon Chadwick, my apologies. So we've got Chadwick there in the 5-7, Dyke ahead, then up to Michael Angus in 7th. Then it's, of course, I'm getting confused with the green and black. It's very easy to do that. There's a few with the same sort of livery or roughly similar in this field in the top 10 alone. Rudd leads Costello, Leonage, Dodd and McNamara to the elbow for the second time.
On the start as well, Zach Cabin, Chris Gisby by Rainer Costello, Breon Leonage around the inside of McNamara, coming up towards the cutting there and got the move done. And then Aaron Dodd decides to dive himself up the inside of his teammate to get the move done as well.
Here's been your observations thus far, mate. Rainer's started well. Leonage getting down his inside down, though. And that means that Leonage is going to slot into second position.
Well, there you go. See, a little bit, but as I said, what a great start from all drivers there until they went up into the cutting. But
Yes.
the way that the other car crossed over and came through was a great team move. I think both RK cars are the team members, and it had to be tried to keep Rayhan at bay, and unfortunately he couldn't be able to do it. Apart from that, the driving once again has been outstanding. The way they handle these cars up and around this track, I know I'm starting to get used to it now. Only just, and that's in some of the other cars with a bit of help with ABS and all that sort of stuff. But you can really put a Porsche around or a GT3 car around here really well. These V8 on ice skates the whole way round, and you've really got to feather that throttle, trail brake all the time coming up across Skyline here. It's there, you can feel the car float out to the edge and over the grate, and you've really got to let the car do what it wants to do and then set yourself up for your next corner. Coming down here through the dipper, and you're getting down to 3rd, down to 2nd, and then you've got to cut this.
Oh, no!
Oh, here we go.
Trouble at the stand. Rick Sibra in the wall, but he's got back going. Dylan Rudd fast over the race, 2:05.67. This is what happened to Sibra on the run into Griffins. This is going to be probably a lock-up. Yep. Oh, he clattered both walls. He got the inside and the outside too for the price of one, much like you get tonight on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting, ladies and gentlemen. 2 races for the price of 1. This is race 1. We're on lap 3. Dylan Rudd, Rehan Leonage, Rainer Costello, the top 3 as we crank up the volume for the first time on the mountain. how slick does Dylan Rudd look at the moment? Have a look at this battle behind him, though. Can we have a look at this? Rian Leonard, Warana Costello, two young guns duking it out, and look at Aaron Dodd trying to find a way through the middle. Surely you're not going to go 3 wide this early. Costello to second. Nice move down there on the inside. Rudd, Costello, Leonard, Dodd, and look at McNamara lurking in there as well. How good's this? And now look at Leonard going defensive. And using all the track and doing a little bit of lawn mowing along the way to get into 4th position, trying to get into 3rd. There's no way past these two young blokes at the moment.
Did he move too much?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not the judge of fact here. I'm going to leave that to race control. I'm not going anywhere near that. Not touching it with a touch pole. Now, we can talk about the Triple Crown points all we like. We'll do that later. But let's focus on the outright championship for a minute here, guys. Dylan Rudd, with that 5-point bonus for pole position, extends his lead to 147 points. It needs to be, and this is just roughly, 155 at the end of this opening race for him to secure the title in race 1. And he'll do that by virtue of the fact, okay, 156 is safe, but 155 he gets the count back because he has the most wins, right? Even if it was to DNF the second race and Leonage was to have a clean race, win and grab 155 for Rudd 0, it'd be even on points and Rudd would get it on the count back by virtue of having the most wins, right? But just looking at it mathematically at the moment, 148 for second, 146 for third. So if Leonage doesn't have a clean race and Rudd does, the difference is 9 points at the moment. Game over. Rudd secures the title in race 1. But keep an eye on that. There's so much to play out tonight. I mean, whatever the case, Matt Davis, if Rudd was to finish there now and win this opening race, it would seemingly be impossible. Oh, sideways from Benny Morris, if you don't mind. So this is the battle for 11th, 12th, and 13th. Three wide down the hell corner, if you don't mind. These blokes are insane. They are aware that this is a 16-lap race and it's only lap 6. We're not even halfway through. That's insane. Crossing him, Morris, Crisdale. Fighting it out for, get this, 11th position. That's how good this season's been. Back we go to Costello, Leonage, Dodd, and McNamara. Just an update from pit lane. Lindsay Hobbs has already been in. Brenton Nitschke remains in pit lane, has been there for about 6 minutes. Looking good for an invert pole position, I would think, at this point in time. Rick Sipra's already been in as well. And Hayden Norris, somewhat surprisingly, I should say, uncharacteristic, ended up in there at the end of one lap because apparently he ran low on fuel, which I wouldn't have thought would be possible. So there's obviously been a mix-up with his setup there.
Yeah, I reckon Norris may have forgot to switch the old qualifying setup back over to the race setup. Very easily done. I've done it once or twice before in the time that I did racing for the officials, Zach and Chris, and it's not the way you want your race to go. That's for sure. It really does drop you all the way back to the back of the field, and then your work's definitely cut out to try and fight back through the field.
Yeah, I think we've all done it, haven't we, there Matt? It's just one of those things. You get so wrapped up in the moment that you forget to change from qualifying to race setup, race trim. And then I had the misfortune of every time I pressed my communications button, it wiped out my fuel, so it never filled up my fuel. So every time Zach spoke to me, I hit the button and no fuel.
Stop the track!
Here we go.
Gets back on.
Oh, he's on.
Loses a swag of positions. Loses out to Chadwick. Loses out to Turner. So Turner moves up to 9th. And now Benny Morris back up into 11th position, getting the better of Crossingman Crisdale. There's Dean Powell arguing over the same piece of real estate with Brian Cooper and Sam Noble as well. Powell to the inside. No, he tucks back in. There's not much room to play with there at the moment. These battles are well and truly alive. Just imagine the intensity, the insanity of what's ahead in the reverse grid race, Matt Davis.
There's reverse grid racing, and then there's reverse grid racing at Bathurst, and I don't think I've ever in the sim time seen a reverse grid race Bathurst. So I'm pumped for it. It's getting the adrenaline going just thinking about it and what it can behold for what's to come. But it's going to be, I hope it's not carnage, but I think it'll be carnage for the drivers just in the seat trying to get around and fight through the field, because Bathurst, you've only got very limited overtaking opportunities.
Indeed you do. Over the top of the mountain one more time. Have a look at Leonage staying with Costello. One of the guns at the first season, with one of the up-and-coming talents in this game. And one of the standout performers of the second season. A little bit of a mistake there. Little bit of a mistake there, and Costello's gained some ground, Kisby.
Yeah, we'd have to say one of the guns of the second season is young Rehan. One of the guns of the first season, Rainer. Guns of the second season, Rehan. And, gee, tongue-tied there, eh? Rehan. Yeah.
I'm hearing you. Whoa, look at this. Tractor Dean Powell for a moment. I'll come back to you,
As I said, there was very minimal overtaking opportunities. Dean Powell proved me wrong.
Oh, wow. So Powell's fallen down to 24th in all of that. Under pressure from Chris Barnes. Now, have a look at this. Benny Morris, Michael Angus. Morris to the inside. Oh, Angus has the inside, running out of the chase. Holds Morris at bay for the moment. So this is the battle for 10th. Now, all this means nothing, because these guys are going to be inverted a little bit later on with the reverse grid race. But the elbows are out tonight. They mean business. Everyone wants a W on Mt Panorama. Absolutely. Fastest lap of the race at the moment belongs to Dylan Rudd. 2:05.67. The fastest of anyone on the mountain at the moment. Now, have a look at this. Costello and Leonage and Dodd arguing over the same piece of real estate. Dodd to the outside, Leonage to the inside, Leonage holds on. This is awesome to watch. This is Rehan clinging to a chance at maybe securing the title next race if something drastically went wrong for Dylan Rudd. But if he keeps dropping positions, if he loses out to Dodd and maybe then McNamara, it is seemingly unlikely that anyone will steal it from Dylan Rudd tonight. It was seemingly unlikely to begin with, but this is Mt Panorama, folks. And strange things happen, and they happen here all the time.
Well, at least there is definitely no chance for rock being thrown up at the cutting.
Yeah, that's true. 41 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Have a look at this.
The
like,
devil
it's
may
the
be
log
thrown.
jam of traffic. The log jam of traffic. Michael Angus on the tail of Benny Morris, but under pressure from Peter Crossing and Robert Crisdale and Craig Schultz as well. This is Aaron Dodd all over the back of Rehan Leonage. Rainer Costello skipped clear, but Dylan Rudd leads this race by 4 seconds. It is the halfway mark of race 1 of the Goodyear Autocare Warana Bathurst SuperSprint, the grand finale for the RSRA Super Series. And you're watching it live on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting and Real Sim Racing Australia across Facebook and YouTube. Great to have your company. Zach Cabin in commentary alongside Chris Kisby and Matt Davis. And we're riding on board with Aaron Dodd. The form men, one of the fast men of this series that didn't have a lot of luck in the opening weeks, and it's a case of what might have been for him. And it just it whets the appetite for what might be a cracking Season 3, which I'm not sure if we're able to reveal the information regarding that with regards to calendar and the like. Hopefully we'll have some sort of intel with regards to that at the end of the broadcast for you, ladies and gentlemen. Lap 9 of 16, half race distance.
I'm looking forward to the big dance at the end of Season 3, Zach Cave, and heading back to what we're at now, but extending it by about another 750 kilometres in race distance.
Exactly. You and I were here for the ride last year, Matty Davis, and looking forward to it again. We did it in 6 hours, neat, last year.
Can we go under?
Autocare run a Bathurst 1000. There's a distinct possibility that we can. I've said it's possible in the real world as well, but it relies on the lack of presence of safety cars. And to that point, none at this point in race 1. I'm not holding my breath on that for race 2, though, ladies and gentlemen. Rudd, Costello, Leonage, Dodd, McNamara are the top 5 at the moment. But big move up positive. Jacob Brewer, Alan Dawson, 9 positions gained thus far from both of them. The big loser, Brenton Nitschke, down 12 positions and has got back on the racetrack after 10.5 minutes in pit lane. So Brenton Nitschke is looking good for pole position for race 2. Down the mountain they go. They're through on the run towards the elbow now. And Rod Hollis in pit lane as well on that note too, boys. So he's down the order in 27th. We're just hearing that Rehan Leonage might have scraped the wall coming out of the elbow. And, you know, Matt, you've driven these cars. Kisby has as well. That it doesn't take much to upset them, and you're running with a compromised car for another 8 laps, and that could be a problem for Rehan going forward. Through the chase we go. This battle continues. And, of course, the 555 of Robert Crisdale. They're trying to go with Michael Angus and Ben Morris, and Crisdale and Crossingham arguing over the same piece of real estate. 955 plays 956. The battle for 12th is well and truly alive. And look at Craig Schultz wanting a piece of the action as well, Chris Kisby.
Yeah, that's right. Crisdale's left-hand side of the car is all scraped up. And who's that? Craig Schultz there, a couple behind him. The right-hand side of his car is all scraped up. So they hit the wall on different sides for whatever reason. But what a cracky race. Bathurst just brings something out in every single driver, from the slowest driver like ourselves up to the fastest drivers. You just want to do well at Bathurst, and you want to complete the round with as little damage, or in our sport here, as little X's, incident points as possible, because it is a really challenging drive in these particular cars.
Across the top of the mountain we go, and it's one of those circuits that rewards bravery but rewards precision as well. It doesn't take much to come unstuck here. A missed braking marker, a missed apex, and you pay the price. Thankfully, no one's done that so far.
But that's right. I mean, a half a second slow in getting off the accelerator or putting it on can actually cause you to go into the wall. So when you say precision driving, it is absolute. You have to be exactly where you need to be at any particular point in time. And look at the way these cars go up on 3 tyres as they come down through the dipper. Then they've got to set themselves up as they come through the dipper. They've got to set themselves up for turn 18, which is Forest Elbow. And if you don't hit that, you do not get that. Is an important corner, because you do not get to run up down Conrod Straight to be able to make your passing move once you get down to Murray's Corner. So, unreal. Or the chase,
now,
I should say.
Here's a passing manoeuvre. Aaron Dodd on Rehan Leonage. Rehan just a little bit wide going out of Griffins, and a brilliant charge up on the outside to the cutting from Aaron Dodd, and he goes into 3rd position now. But Rehan did not make it easy for him. Look at that, 2x2 through the cutting, if you don't mind. Shades of Brock and Perkins in the rain in 94.
Yeah, so when you come up the straight there and you hit Griffin's Bend, you come down to 3rd, and then you're up into 4th, heading to the cutting. So you're actually accelerating, coming up the hill, and then as you see that little bend in the left-hand side, you're back down to 3rd, and then back down to 2nd to hit the cutting. Just perfect. Right, real close, just there as they come through. And if you don't get that right, it throws you straight into the tyre power wall.
Well, that's exactly right. Just thinking about it now, boys, as well, looking at the mathematics of the situation, the fact that Rehan has dropped to 4th, it's 153 points before you even consider the points, the equation regarding clean races. So it's looking seemingly unlikely that Dylan Rudd is going to be denied a championship. And to be fair, Matt Davis, he deserves every success he gets tonight, Dylan Rudd, because with the exception of that unfortunate mishap at Watkins Glen where he ran out of fuel on the cool-down lap and copped a 3-spot penalty, he's hardly put a foot wrong this season.
No, from what I've seen this season, I've tried to catch up on the Thursday or even a Wednesday day to what happened on a Tuesday night motorsport. And he hasn't put a foot wrong. Costello gave him the charge and brought the fight to him and really made him work for the wins. And then Rehan stepped up to the plate after Costello left and tried to chase down Rudd, but he's a masterful driver. As we've got the 020, that's I've lost me numbers here for a second. All new to the series again. It's pretty
Norris
much like
020.
Hayden Norris. Thank you very much. There's you got Hayden Norris going around the inside of Alan Dawson there, coming down into the chase. Gets the move done nice and cleanly. But no, he's a masterpiece of driving. Hasn't put a foot wrong. 9 times out of 10, he's got a clean race, and he's always gotten the bonus points, should I say, not the positions, the bonus point.
Sounds like he's reading in the right.
position.
Yeah. And on that note as well, we saw what a difference bonus points made to last season's outcome as well, Chris
didn't
Kisby.
we?
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. The bonus points really played a part last season, and it was so close in the end. But you're quite right there. Rian did try to take a place. Rayner put it to him and got out in front there, but of course you had the mishap through the series. But young Rehan took that spot and kept him honest going through. But as we all know, I am an absolute Ford sympathy fanatic, and for me, that's just absolute ripper series from Dylan Rudd in the red circle. So hats off and credit where credit's due. The guy has driven out of his shell and shown us some masterful driving coming through. And he's shown us some mistakes, some of the rookie mistakes that can be made even by the top drivers. So he's shown us everything through this series, and my hat goes off to Dylan Rudd for doing that. And it's a series that I'm never going to forget.
Same here. Now, a couple of points of interest here, boys, and we're just getting an alert through from our producer as well. Dylan Pereira is back online for race 2. Great news for Dylan Pereira, but wretched luck because you fear as though his aspirations of third might have been dashed by the problems he's had in race 1. The fact that he's a non-starter. Now, on that subject, just having a look down through the order here, lap 13 of 16, 75% race distance is 12 laps. Brenton Nitschke's out there. He's not going to make 75%. He's only on lap 7 at the moment. He's 6 laps down. He will not make 75%. So it'll be a no points race for Brenton Nitschke, but he will start at the right end of town for race 2. And remember, he won the reverse grid race earlier in the season. I think it was Alton Park, was it not? So that'll be interesting to see how he goes second time round. Rod Hollis is in pit lane at the moment, having been there after the end of the 9th lap. And he's been there for 5 1/4 minutes. He needs to get back out on track and get another 3 laps, or otherwise he's going to be classified as a DNF as well. Rick Sibber in 26th position at the moment is the last of the cars on circuit on the lead lap. Lindsay Hobbs is a lap down, I think you'll find. So, or is Rick Sibber now a lap down as well? Rick Sibber, no, not quite a lap down. So we're on lap 13. Rick Sibber, the last of the cars, 26 still on the lead lap here at Mt Panorama. You're watching the RSRA Super Series, the Goodyear Autocare Warana Bathurst SuperSprint. 260 kilometres worth of racing tonight, 2 for the price of 1. 100-kilometre sprint to start things off, or 99 kilometres, and then 161 kilometres, which is another famous number when it comes to this circuit. The second race around here, which will be good fun a little bit later on. 26 laps ahead there, including a pit stop, potential for safety cars, all sorts of drama, and a step into the unknown, as Matt Davis said, with a reverse grid race around Mt Panorama, just because sometimes you've got to be cruel for entertainment purposes. Lap 14 of 16 as they come round onto the main straight. Have a look at this on the run of the chase. Kai Turner and Ben Morris getting the elbows out. And Turner holds on for the moment to 9th spot with a battle for 9th is well and truly alive. Also, well and truly alive, Jamie Dykes right there with Sean McNamara as well, trying to find his way into the top 5. That has implications as far as the championship's concerned as well. Have a look at this from Kai Turner. Forceful stuff, Matt Davis.
Oh, I caught the very, very end of it, but almost banging doors as they fly through the chase. Top of 6th gear, 280 plus kilometres an hour there, ladies and gentlemen. Jumping hard onto the brakes, too wide. And one car on the dirty line, one car on the clean line. The car on the dirty line, Kai Turner still manages to pull the car up and drop it back to 2nd gear. What an absolute stellar move and textbook move that was coming through the chase. And Benny Morris all over the back of him again.
Exactly. That battle's not over. Chris Kisby, we've spoken about it a number of times in our respective broadcasts. Actually, I can't go to Kisby at the moment. Matt, I'll come back to you. We've spoken about it a number of times. The potential for incidents at that point of the circuit, at any point of any circuit, really,
Yes.
when you're running side by side and rubbing panels, there's a tremendous amount of trust required in your fellow competitor to run, particularly in that corner, side by side through the fastest corner in Australian motorsport. If so much as an inch or a car width difference there, and that could have been curtains for both of them. That was extraordinary to watch.
There's, as you said, there's running too wide on a normal racetrack. High Turner runs a little bit wide coming through Forest Elbow, but gets a better run onto Conrod Straight, and you can see the difference there, ladies and gentlemen, in the Benny Morris's line to Kai Turner's line. Kai Turner was just able to get the jump out of him out of Forest Elbow, but you've got too wide on a normal track. Then you go to Bathurst and try to run too wide. As Benny Morris gets the slipstream now, can he force the issue again through the chase? Kai Turner runs defensive. Benny Morris can't get it done, but he's on the back bumper now, and they're almost touching as they come into Hull corner, or Murray's corner, my apologies. Kai Turner covers the inside. Benny Morris going to try to force the issue a long way around.
Whoa.
Oh.
Now the up and under. Can Kai Turner cover him off? Have a look at this down the main straight. 2 to go on Mount Panorama in race 1. Have a look at this. This is awesome. Now, I was going to say, I thought for a moment there, Matty, that they were going to be Benny and Kai side by side going into not only Murray's but Hell as well. And now, have a look at this. Jamie Dyke and Sean McNamara. And Cameron Jones and Simon Chadwick arguing over the same piece of real estate. There are battles everywhere in the bottom half of the top 10. And Morris all over the back of Kai Turner coming out of Griffins once more. Up to the cutting they go. Dyke on McNamara, Jones on Chadwick. 3 active battles inside the top 10, but at the front, one thing remains the same. It's the Dylan Rudd show by 4.8 seconds.
It is, and back to what I was saying, Zach and Chris, there's 2 wide on Norman's racetrack, there's 2 wide at Mount Panorama, then there's 2 wide leading into the fastest corner in Australian motorsport history, the Chase. 280 plus kilometres an hour, side by side. You don't know how the car's going to react on a dirty line. A tyre width difference for Benny Morris could have pushed Kai Turner wide and sent him 280 k's through the sand trap. You don't know how the cars are going to react. You've got to have the most highest trust, not just within your race car, but the guys next to his race car as well. And it's one of the hairiest moments in Australian motorsport history, I reckon.
Indeed.
That is
Just
the truth.
Extraordinary stuff, Kisby. Last lap for Dylan Rudd. Here we go. He's on his way home. And this will be 1 hand and 4 fingers on the championship. Now, look at this. Kai Turner and Ben Morris still going hammer and tong. Watch those guys trying to weave their way through in the second race as well. I cannot wait to see who masters this reverse grid race in terms of just playing a patient game, picking your moment, and making it stick, because it's going to be one of those high-risk situations. Points equations need to be taken into consideration. If you're in a positional battle inside the top 10, there'll be a couple of guys just outside the top 10, hoping that they can get inside the top 10. What can Dylan Pereira do now that he's back in the server? And that's going to change the front row, because Dylan Pereira is going to be there with Brenton Nitschke. So much to play out when we get stuck into it. Pit lane start actually for Dylan Pereira, yeah. So because by virtue of the fact that he lost race 1. Yeah. Big side. Wow. He nearly threw it away. You don't want to be doing that at the end of the race. Ben Morris trying to get up the inside out of the cutting. No, thank you. Under pressure now from Robert Christoph. 3-way battle for 9th. Jamie Dyke closing in on Sean McNamara as well. Cameron Jones still going with Simon Chadwick. Again, 3 active battles in the back half of the top 10 here as we approach the checkered flag in race 1 of round 12 of the RSRA Super Series. And the 3rd round of the Triple Crown as well. Lap 16 at 16. And Dylan Rudd is on his way to the chase for the last time. This guy has just been a cut above the rest, with no disrespect to the rest of the competition. 9.5 Sim Sport are going to cement the title tonight one way or another, because this guy now has one hand and four fingers on RSRA Super Series supremacy. Rudd wins race one. Very nicely done. Second to Rainer Costello. It's a case of what might have been as far as the championship's concerned, given he's sat out so many weeks. Now look at this. Jamie Dodd got past Sean McNamara in the run to the line. Dodd gets fifth. Dodd third. Leonage fourth. Dodd got the better of McNamara. Chadwick holds off Jones. Turner and Morris are going to round out the top 10. Morris wanted to have a dive down the inside. Not close enough. And Kai Turner holds on tonight. Morris and Crenshaw make up the top 11. Then Craig Schultz, Peter Crossingham, David Kirby's the next one home, with Jacob Brewer breathing down his neck as well. Man, oh man, if that's what the 16 lapper can dish up, this 26 lapper could destroy the voice box of all three of us. That was just phenomenal. And
I want to say
Dylan
all
Rudd,
three of us, Zach, but I think at least one of us.
Two of us, anyway.
Well, yeah, I was going to say Matty Davis probably up there in the high decimal range as well on a couple of different occasions. Well done to Dylan Rudd. I mean, that's at least 153 points, and I'm not sure who's got a clean race, who hasn't at this point in time. I doubt that this guy has put a foot wrong at any point during that 16 laps. So we will find out that information shortly. We've got a 10-minute window here, folks. We will hear from the drivers in just a moment. And we'll have a chat to Rudd, Costello, and Dodd. And then at the end of the race, we'll try and have a chat to the top three for the race, the top three for the round, the top three for the Triple Crown, the top three for the overall championship. We could be here till bloody midnight tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's a big night for post-race shows in the RSRA Super Series. That was fantastic stuff. Let's have a look at the race results now. And Chris Kisby, why don't you do the honours, please?
Okay, so race results. First, Dylan Rudd. Second, Rainer Costello. Third, Aaron Dodd. Fourth, Leonage. 5, Jamie Dyke. 6, Sean McNamara. 7, Simon Chadwick. 8, Cameron Jones. 9, Kai Turner. And to round out your top 10, Ben Morris. So what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Forwards up in there, and I think it was 5 Holden as well. Robert Christdale, Craig Schultz, Peter Crossingham, David Kirby, Jacob Brewer, Hayden Norris, Sam Noble, Dean Alessi, Alan Dawson, Brian Cooper, 11 through to 20.
Over the page again.
Over the page again, Matthew Scholes, Michael Angus, Dean Power, Dean Reddick, Chris Barnes, Rick Sibra, Lindsay Hobbs, Rod Hollis, Brendan Nitschke, Dylan Pereira, as we know, had that problem with internet connection, and he rounds out the field.
Oh, Brenton Nitschke, have to feel for him. 5 laps down, just misses to 75%. Rod Hollis did get back out there, finished 4 laps down, gets to 75%, and that is good enough for him to get some championship points. Now, on the back of that, let's talk to the top 3. Dylan Rudd, 1 hand, 4 fingers on the championship. The margin is 153 from what we know thus far, and that's not taking into consideration whether yourself or Rehan Leonage have had a clean race on top of that. So it's 153. It could be as many as 158. One way or another, you are championship elect, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Just talk us through that, mate, because you had a little bit of pressure in practice from your teammate in Sean McNamara, who topped the timesheets, I think, in practice there with a 2:03.3, which was a scintillating time. The pace wasn't there in the race. McNamara didn't get a great start. You converted beautifully, and you just took off.
Yeah, I got clean getaway, and up to turn 2, I saw that the guys behind were battling. So from there on, had a pretty comfortable lead, so just managed the gap, managed the tyres, and yeah.
What's the plan of attack, mate? I'm going to keep this nice and quick for you because I know we'll be talking to you again in about an hour. What's the plan of attack in this reverse grid race, please? Because we've thrown the cat amongst the pigeons tonight. We've upped the difficulty level to extreme because a reverse grid race here is fraught with danger for very obvious reasons. How are you planning to attack it now that you know the championship is just about yours?
Be the same. Just try and get through the first lap unscathed, and then push on from there.
Anything from Matt Davis and Chris Kisby quickly?
Oh, mate,
Oh,
all I can say is I haven't really been in the in the booth for the Super Series, but Rod, mate, you've actually absolutely stolen the show. Not many questions for you. Just want to say, mate, what an absolute season you've had. So congratulations.
Thanks, mate.
Dylan,
it's
go and get amongst
same,
it.
same from me there, Dylan. It's just been an absolute pleasure to watch you drive this season, and I look forward to see what you can do in the future.
Cheers,
Dylan,
guys.
go and get amongst it, mate. Good luck in this reverse grid race. We'll chat to you as our champion, one way or another at the end of this race, mate. Go well.
Thanks, guys.
Second in that race was, of course, Rainer Costello, the old runaway.
Runaway Rainer.
Mate, nice return of the series from you. And I mean, we've been saying that now for 7 days. Awesome performance. One small mistake, but you didn't let it hinder your progress. How nice is it to come to the mountain with the pressure off? You can just throw caution to the wind and have at it tonight.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Probably needed to do a bit more preparation. I only had the session before the race to do practice, so that's the only driving in the supercar I've done all. That's the only driving in the supercar I've really done all week since last Phillip Island, because I've been doing a fair bit of exam and assignment stuff for school. So yeah, I was pretty good, pretty happy with that. So yeah, I was getting faster as the race went on because I was learning the setup, because completely different setup and everything. Quali didn't quite go to plan. I did a lap that was good enough for pole, but I got a contact with the wall, and then the track sort of heated up towards the end. So yeah, pretty happy to come away with second.
I've got 5 minutes here, guys. So, Rainer, what's the plan of attack for this next one, mate?
Full send.
All right, mate. We wish you very well with that. Come back and have a bigger chat to us in the post-race show if you can. Good on you, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
I'd love to hear from Rainer one way or another, because I think he's really going to be the guy that we've got to keep an eye on in season 3, regardless of what happens tonight.
Yeah.
Given his form in season 1 and the form from what we've seen of him in a truncated season 2 campaign for the youngster Rainer Costello. Aaron Dodd, it's a case of what might have been for you as well, mate. We've been talking about it through the call. You've had pace, you've had results. You just haven't had all the luck in the world throughout the 12 weeks, but it started off nicely on grand final night. Well done. 3rd place.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Yeah, got pretty unlucky this season, but mainly just due to my own fault. But hopefully make that up next season. And yeah, tonight just having a good drive, and old little Rehan just then making me work for everything. He just drove so good just then. Hats off to him. That was yeah, such a fun race just then.
So talk us through your plan of attack for this second race, knowing that you're going to have those 2 fast guys starting right behind you, and knowing as well that there's a potential for you to move just gradually up the order as far as the championship's concerned as well. Not that you're factoring in the top 3 or anything, but every position counts.
Yeah, no, that's it. Just see what happens. Those boys have the pace over me, so if they're up by the side of me, I'm just going to let them go and then just momentum. So yeah, it's going to be fun this race.
And the other thing I should ask you too, mate, before we let you go, the fact that you're in a similar position to Rainer, that you can throw caution to the wind, you can have at it tonight, because you haven't got to be mindful of the championship to the extent that the top 3 do, particularly Rehan and particularly also Dylan Rudd. How eager does that make you to come back and put yourself up there as a championship contender in the next season, which starts in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, yeah, try and do a lot better than this season, that's for sure. It was a bit of a shame, but you learn from all the mistakes, and I've certainly learnt from all the mistakes. I think I've got every single penalty that you can get, so I think I'm leading that championship, so that's all right. But, yeah,
Is that one you really want to admit to?
Well, no, that's a
honest.
good point, Kisby. Dear. Right.
It's been
Good on
good
you.
fun watching you.
Good on you, Aaron. All the best in this next race, mate. Hopefully we'll be checking in with you at the end.
Yeah, cheers, fellas. See ya.
All right, let's have a look at some points here. as far as the overall championship is concerned. And then we'll have a look at the Triple Crown as well. And there it is. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We have 153 points the advantage from Dylan Rudd to Rehan Leonage. So I'm sure I'll get it in my earpiece in a moment, whether both had a clean race or whether both didn't have a clean race. That's why we were talking about the championship equation being 153. The target was 155. He's 2 points short, unfortunately, Dylan Rudd. So the championship, believe it or not, as weird as this may sound, given the margin and given all the rigmarole that we're about to go through this reverse grid race, the championship is still alive. Dylan Rudd needs to finish this race to cement the title. If he doesn't, Rehan Leonage needs to win the race, get a clean race, 155 points, game over, he'd steal it by 2 points. It's seemingly impossible. The odds of it happening are almost as good as the odds of winning Lotto, Matt Davis, but by gee, I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out.
Oh, reverse grid. He's got his work cut out for him. But noteful that Rehan is starting ahead of him. He is a hard defender, young Leonage. Very, very hard to get around. So he's going to make life difficult. And if he doesn't let Costello around him, it could be a bit of a gridlock for not Dodd, Dylan Rudd.
I'd like to mention
Quickly to the Triple
Jamie
Crown
Dyke
points
here.
if we can.
Yes,
Yep.
Jamie
Yeah, go
Dyke
for
as
it,
well.
Kisby.
Yeah, no, Jamie Dyke's not that far behind, and he could get in front of Rehan here too.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It could be. But the obviously DSL Welding Triple Services Triple
Yep.
Crown Championship as well to go through as well. Duggo, you want to lead this one, mate, or you want me to take it away?
I was going to say, it's only 29 points from Dylan Rudd to Rehan Leonage, but it's 2 points between Leonage and Dyke. So one way or another, Jamie Dyke may be able to grab second away from Rehan Leonage, depending upon the results of a very interesting setup in this 14th and final race of the season. And look at that, Peter Crossingham and Simon Chadwick arguing it out over fourth in that fight as well for the DSL Welding Services. Hey, I got it right for the first time tonight. Triple Crown, unofficial results there as they stand at the moment. No time to muck around here, guys, because we are going to jump straight into the reverse grid race. And the grid looks like this. It's an invert of the first. That will mean that Dylan Pereira and Brenton Nitschke will share the front row, but Pereira will now actually start from pit lane because of the fact that he did not start that first race. So it'll be Nitschke on the front row, all on his lonesome. Hollis and Hobbs from row 2, Sibber and Barnes from row 3, then Reddit and Powell from row 4, Angus and Scholes from row 5, then Cooper and Dawson from row 6. Over the page, Alessia and Noble will be row 7, Norris and Brewer from row 8, Kirby and Crossingham from 9, then Schultz and Crisdale from 10th row. That should be 19 and 20. Ben Morris, Kai Turner from row 11, Cameron Jones, Simon Chadwick from 12. Sean McNamara and Jamie Dyke from row 13. Rehan Leonage, Aaron Dodd from 14. Raina Costello and Dylan Rudd making up the field. It's been a captivating season. It's held our attention from first until last, and it all hinges on this final 26 laps. Dylan Pereira needs to only finish to capture the title. Let's find out how it unfolds. Reverse grid racing at Mt Panorama, fraught with danger, underway. Live and explosive on the platforms of Semshed, broadcasting as they head up Mountain Straight for the first time. Beautiful start from Brendan Nitschke. It's teammates 1 and 2 up the hill for the first time. Nitschke, then Hollis, then Hobbs as they head up towards Griffin's Bend. Clean start. Now, let's see how they sort themselves out across the mountain. Riding on board.
Because that came in there very, very briefly on my end.
And there up the top. It's car stuck in the middle.
Jacob Brewer around Leonage are together. We lost that game in very briefly. Sorry for that, ladies and gentlemen. NTS replay, Nationwide Technology Systems replay for you as they go across the top of the mountain for the first time. Dylan Rudd, the man on your screen right now. Jamie Dyke just ahead of him. And by the looks of it, Brewer and Leonage have come together. Oh no, it's an absolute
Oh,
blow.
no.
And
Still.
Dylan Rudd has been caught up in it as well.
Oh, can you believe that? And this is the problem too, guys. I mean, Dylan Rudd's caught up in it. That's one thing. But the fact that Rehan Leonage was caught up in it as well, that's not the way you want to win a title. But Dylan Rudd will be breathing a sigh of relief right now. I could only imagine. This is 2 of the night. We're at 1 at 26. Let's have a look at the replay one more time and see how it all unfolded coming through the cutting. On the exit of the cutting, we knew there'd be some drama. We were just waiting as to when it would happen, and it happened much further up the hill, and it just up, unfortunately. Have a look at 1, 2, 3, 4 cars involved, and one of them was Brewer.
Yeah, Jacob Brewer was the one that lost it there to start with, I believe, and then it all unfolded in behind him there. But it is so easy to do that on cold tyres. I feel sorry for Jacob there. He was probably trying to just take it nice and easy and just hit the accelerator at the wrong time and bang.
Starlo in the pits.
Matt,
Starlo in
that's
the pits.
an unscheduled. Hello. And Peter crossing him as well. Dylan Rudd's down in 27th, 26th. He's trying to soldier on with whatever damage is sustained. Rehan Leonage is going to end up in the pit lane as well here, unsurprisingly. And it's a blind motor for Rehan Leonage. So
That's the race done for him.
That's curtains. Wow.
And Costello
Can you
might have
believe
got
what
a
we've
stop and
seen?
hold penalty. Oh, hang on, we've
In
got
fact, he's just
actually.
standing by now,
He's
green room
standing
as
by.
well.
We'll drag Costello in here and find out what's happened, ladies and gentlemen, with the with why he's actually stuck in pit lane. Rainer Costello, mate, you're not usually in the broadcast booth at the start of the race. What in the world has happened to you?
Well, I think someone had a crash on the way up the hill. I was going through minding my own business, and then just got a meatball flag. Cars went everywhere, and that's my race over. Hi, Dad.
Oh.
That's how it can happen at Bathurst, I tell you.
Oh.
What a round off the circuit. There's been a big moment for Lindsay Hobbs at the front of the field. He was running third. He's caught the curb on the exit of the chase and had a big moment. Have a look at this on replay. Rainer, stay with us, mate. We'll get you to offer some insights as we go here. Way too much curb for Lindsay Hobbs.
Kept it out of the wall, though.
Now, Sean McNamara has clocked the fastest lap of the race. He's gone from 25th up to 16th. He's up to 15th now, getting by Craig Schultz. Next target, Robert Crisdale. He's going to clock him off as well. There you go. Easy done. Down the inside up to Griffins.
We were talking about championship positions there, Zach. Oh, look at him coming through. It's too wide. Coming up through the top of the hill.
The 953 Sam Noble's in there as well, having a piece of the action.
Oh, look at them trying to get up through there. They all know that position is the big thing here. And we were talking about position, and Jamie Dyke, he's off, and he, with that, Rehan has actually dropped back. He's still in the pits there, but if he keeps going like this and he can get a few more places, he may actually get up to second spot there.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. See, this is the thing. Matt Davis. We've been sitting here thinking, when's that safety car going to come? Unfortunately for the guys caught up in that lap 1 incident, it's not coming to their rescue.
No, not at all. Unfortunately, our main safety car driver has found himself disqualification somehow, and we have to bring out an iRacing safety car.
He's got out the back for a drink.
I think he might have had an early beer going. I didn't have much work in race 1, so I'll go for a beer, and obviously he's decided to blow on the breath over before he's got back into the safety car.
Oh, no. Michael Angus off the circuit as well momentarily. He was running in 6th. He's now down to 9th as Michael Angus rejoining the circuit there behind Brian Cooper. And apologies for the tech issue. No idea what's happened, but there's been a few network issues this evening plaguing not just competitors, but now broadcasters alike as well. Hopefully we're good to soldier through to the end. Remember to stick around post-race, folks. So much to look forward to here because we'll wrap up the season. We'll try and get an insight. We'll try and pick Sean McNamara's brain if we can on what Season 3 might offer up. Because word has it that he has a little bit of a role to play in putting the calendar and the formats together. So we'll try and pick his brain 3 wide. Hang on a minute. You blokes are inside. How did he keep that off the wall?
Wow.
That is just another level of madness that you come to expect in reverse grid racing around Mt Panorama.
2 wide is insane. How about 3 wide in the Griffins?
Let's do this every week, shall we? Reverse grid racing around Mt Panorama. These guys are off the chart. Down they come. It was Dean Alessi with the moment. He caught the grass. He somehow kept it off the wall. How the hell did he do that? Unbelievable. Still at the front. Brenton Nitschke leads Dean Powell. Dean's the big mover at the front end of town at the moment. 6 positions up. And making a game of it here. Rick Sibber 3rd. Rod Hollis, Chris Barnes make up the top 5. Dean Reddit, Matthew Scholes, Michael Angus, Brian Cooper and Kai Turner take us back to 10th position. McNamara's on a charge up to 12th. Sorry, up to 13th. Alan Dawson next target. He's gained 12 positions. As I have a dyslexic moment, there's been a few of them tonight. Sam Noble, Dean Alessi, Simon Chadwick in behind him as well. They are charging hard. And the great thing about this, Matt Davis and Chris Kisby, everywhere I look, yellow and orange numbers on the timing screen here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great, isn't it? Hayden Norris is the fastest lap of the race.
Down the inside goes McNamara, up into 12th. Next target, Robert Crisdale. And McNamara's on a charge tonight. He has a point to prove here. And by point to prove, it's Season 3 is mine for the taking. I just need a bit more luck in the opening weeks of the season. He had a shocker, didn't he? Canada and Watkins Glen. My goodness.
He hasn't been having much luck, has he?
No, but what do they say? It's racing is 80% skill and 20% luck, or 90% skill and 20% luck. But,
I'm going to say 80% luck, 20% skill there, Chris Kisby, because you never know what's going to happen.
Mate, I've got 20% skill and I couldn't keep up with these guys, I'll tell you. But I've been keeping an eye on a little bit further down the pack there, and as I mentioned before, young Jamie Dyke, I've been watching Rian. So now it is pretty important that Rian gets back on track and at least tries to complete his 75% to get some points. Because if he can do that and something happens to Jamie, then he may still be able to pull out something for this second spot in the championship. So
yes,
it's not over. He's just got to sit there, and I've been watching there. Dylan's back out on track a lap down. Rihan's back. Rihan, he's back on track. So that's good for him.
There you go.
So the big, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 now. Jamie's on the back of about 7-car train. So if anything happens in front of him and he gets caught up in it, wham, the championship, the second place is still alive. So, yeah, it's all over the place, and you just can't give up your concentration at any point in time in the race, especially around Bathurst.
You can't give up the fight either, Chris.
No, you can't.
Mate.
You can't. A different story for Rayner because...
Whoa! And Cooper!
That was Archie Barty coming into the chase.
Absolutely. Read my mind, Matt Davis. That's exactly where I was going. Brian Cooper and Kai Turner, wasn't it? Have a look at this again.
2 wide in the Griffins.
And this was on the run down Conrad to the fastest corner in Australian motorsport. We were talking about this in race 1. If you don't show respect to your fellow competitor, it can end so much more worse than what it did when the guys went side by side down through there cleanly a few minutes ago.
Well, I think
race control might have a look at that one.
I think Kai Turner just come across on Brian Cooper just a little bit too much. I think they're going too wide down Conroy Straight. We saw Kai Turner do this in race 1 with Benny Morris. and somehow those two went through unscathed. This time Turner's on the inside. Yeah,
Oh.
he's come across Cooper
Wow.
there, and
He just needs
and
to
he's-
hold that line.
yeah, he's come across Cooper just a little bit too much. He's tried to open up the chase, entry to the chase there, and he's just found himself Brian Cooper on the rear door, and didn't really expect him to be that close or have that much track there between the two of them. And luckily enough, both of them went through the chase unscathed, but it's a very hairy moment nevertheless for Kai Turner, who could have been going through the sand trap at 280 kilometres an hour.
But
Well,
then again, you and I both know, Matt, that there's this little guy sitting there saying, still there, still there.
Oh,
still
there is,
So
there
why
is
would you
always
move off a
spotted.
line? Why would you move off a line when the guy's there sitting there saying, still there, still there? I can't understand that in some aspects.
Yeah, that is very true. It's also the space between the two of the cars as well, Kisby. You never know exactly how much you've got unless obviously we use virtual spotters for those running along and playing along at home. We use virtual spotters sometimes, and fortunately enough for Rainer Costello, who's in the commentary booth, he's able to have Daniel from Coghlan Engineering run alongside in his ear and actually run from the rear of the car view and tell him how much space he's got between the car that he's overtaking and his car. So,
Oh, what a save!
that's the
What a
208.
save.
That's Benny Morris.
Craig Schultz in the 208 as well. I mean, my
Just
goodness.
in front of Jamie.
Let's have a look at this again. That's a bit how you're going, isn't it? My goodness gracious me. What a save from Craig Schultz.
Wilson. Oh. That's a fantastic.
Wait
And
for
the
it.
elbows are out tonight, aren't they, boys?
Oh. Final race of the season. You wouldn't expect anything else, would you?
No,
No,
it's
exactly
SuperSeries
right.
and it's Bathurst and reverse grid. I mean, final race
Yep.
Bathurst reverse grid.
The-
What could really go wrong, eh?
Well, that's exactly right.
There's
The,
Sean-
the
Sean
elbows are out
McNamara up to ninth.
because the boys know that this is the last time they're going to be rubbing panels until the back end of September. We've got a couple of weeks off. The pre-qualifying and everything else is going to be unfolding between now and the next season. We'll talk about that as well in the post-race. But the fact of the matter is that these guys won't get to turn wheels in anger in race mode for the better part of 2 to 3 weeks now in the RSRA Super Series. They might go and race elsewhere. They usually do. But this is the last time that they'll hang out with us on a Tuesday night until the end of the month.
Yeah, stay out of officials until I finish, will you?
Boys, we've still obviously got
Yeah.
Rainer Costello sitting,
yeah.
that bit tight coming through the forest elbow right there onto the run at Conrod Straight. We've still got Rainer Costello, obviously sitting with us, and what better time to bring him in?
Exactly.
When talking about running 2-3 wide around, especially Bathurst, but around any racetrack, Rainer, how much awareness do you really need to have, especially around Bathurst coming into the chase, with the cars around you?
Oh, you need to have a lot of awareness. There's cars all around you. It's a bumpy corner. If you get it slightly wrong or you're slightly offline, it's all off. I mean, Rihan and I showed it before. We went through there flying side by side, and that was pretty cool. But I was right over the bumps, and any more to the left, and I would have been straight into the side of him. So you got to be real precise through the chase, real aware of all the other cars. But speaking of that, I'm actually back out on track behind the top three.
Very nice.
Hey, he's
There
back
he
on
is.
track. So we've got
Uh,
live commentary on the track, which
That's it.
Chris Kisby usually does with the
That's
Gentleman
right.
Sim Racing Club.
Hey, Rainer, if we become too much for you, let us know and we'll put you back in the green room so you can race in silence, mate. But if you're happy there, we're happy to have you.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm 20 kilometers down on straight line speed, so I'm just out here to have a bit of fun. Cars feels perfectly fine through the corners though, so.
At least he's perfectly honest about it.
Who's that up?
Lap 8 of 26. We are safety car free to this point. I didn't think I'd be saying that. We're not short of drama. We've got a few
No.
wounded warriors. Rainer is one of them. But look at this. The elbows are out at the moment. Scholes, Turner, McNamara, Crisdale, Angus and Noble all arguing over the same piece of real estate. And further behind this battle, Dean Alessi, Craig Schultz, Ben Morris, Brian Cooper, Aaron Dodd and Jamie Dyke as well. We are heading
what
for
I'm
a
following.
very different looking finishing order at this point, Matt Davis. Brenton Nitschke It's something about reverse grid races for that bloke. He's still leading the way.
Oh, Nitschke loves his reverse grid racing. Dean Powell's up there on his back bumper, giving him a hard time. But one note to make, Jamie Dyke. We know he's obviously, Jamie Dyke, Aaron Dodd, as McNamara gets a good run here out of Forest Elbow and gets the run on Kai turning down front line straight. Jamie Dyke, Aaron Dodd having a really hard time making their way through the field. McNamara, though, on the other hand, is about ready to take, well, there he goes. He's got ninth position away from Kai Turner around the outside and chase, and he gets it.
Oh, that's just brilliant when you see...
That's two for the
That's-
price.
Oh!
Everywhere.
There goes Barnes and Scholes off the circuit. There are cars going everywhere at the chase, inside, outside, and onto the grass as well. Have a look at this on replay for NCS.
McNamara takes sixth position and all of that as well, boys.
What happened to the right car?
Oh,
He just touched. I reckon
Scholes
he's
and Barnes
touched the
came
car in
together.
front.
Oh, no.
Oh, how about that for drama? And there he goes. Scholes, he pops all the way out, back behind Jamie Dyke and Aidan Norris there. All the way down in 19th position. Back.
It's interesting where we are at the moment. We're on lap 9. We've got a long way to go here, and pit stops are going to play their part between lap 10 and 17, boys. Between lap 10 and 17, because we know that the fuel window is about 16 laps. So do you come in on... Oh, have a look at this firstly. 208's going to get a drive-through for contact, and now there'll be another one probably. The 408 gets thrown around. That's Kai Turner. But 208 is coming to pit lane for a drive-through penalty for the earlier contact that we mentioned. And, oh boy, it's all happening out there at the moment. It's a bit hard to try and keep up with it.
Radio's gone off, mate.
I could imagine. I could imagine. Down through the dipper, on the run towards the elbow. Have a look at this in the meantime. Dean Powell over the back of Brenton Nitschke for the race lead at this point in time. And then Rick Sibber is third. Dean Reddit is fourth. And that's the battle we've picked up now. The battle for first. And Dean Powell to the lead down on the inside. Perfect time to pick up the lead battle. And Brenton Nitschke slots back into second as Powell takes the front running.
Come on, boys. You're two forwards. Don't fight too hard.
Listen to Kisby, would you? We're at 17 laps from home, Kisby.
McNamara's got her outside. On the outside at 21.
That is insane from Sean McNamara. That's why he's one to watch when we come to Mt Panorama. Now, the 177 of Rod Hollis trying to hold off Chris Dale. Can't do that. Oh, poor old Rod Hollis has had two moves put on him around the outside in as many seconds. Whoa! Contact on the main straight as well. Simon Chadwick in the thick of it. And now up Mountain Straight, Chadwick clears himself. Hollis goes out of pursuit of Crisdale. McNamara's up the road. Then Dean Reddit. Sibra and Nitschke still going with Dean Powell. Oh, we don't know where to look at the moment. Lap 10, critical number here because at the end of this lap, you can fuel up and get home. You can fuel up and get home if you want. You can take the fresh rubber. But I think a few of these guys will want to play the longer game and push it towards lap 16, lap 17 if they can, Matt Davis. Whoa! Moment. And a big save as well.
Oh, no! Cameron Jones around.
And that's a precarious point of the circuit as well. You do not want to get stuck there for too long.
And he's got to wait for everybody.
And he's okay. He's got it back going. Let's go on the replay for NCS. Cameron Jones, his first big moment of the night. This is how it happened. Was there contact? Yes, there probably was. A little too deep into the corner. He's done exactly what Jamie Whincup did last October. That's clouded the tyre power wall. And then that's unsettled the car for the run through the cutting. And then this. Sliding it through. Lost control. Had no hope. He was a passenger from that point.
Just jumped on the power too early there, Cameron Jones. He should have composed himself a little bit.
Waited for the car to straighten.
Yeah, wait for the car to straighten a little bit. He knows how slippery that corner can be. So a little bit of his own mistake there by Cameron Jones. I think that'd be classed as a racing incident from race control there, Chris.
Yeah, I couldn't see too much into it. Oh, here we go. Someone's stuck on the left-hand side. Coming into Murray's.
I don't realise like that. He's just letting
That's
everybody go
coming out
follow
of the
him on.
chase. So Rehan, I mean, it's already a battered and bruised car. The race is beyond repair for him. He's just out there to try and grab a couple of championship points in the hope that something might happen to Jamie Dyke, might happen to Dylan Rudd.
Dyke,
And-
Cooper, Norris, all in.
That car looks like it's been through the battlegrounds in a war zone. Dead set. Now, have a look at this. Have a look at this. Chadwick and Crisdale side by side to Griffins. McNamara, fastest lap of the race, 2:05.92.
McNamara in clean air can be dangerous from here as well, boys. He's only a lap 11 of 26. 15 to go, and he's in 5th position. He's 2.6 away from Reddit, lapping, last time round, lapped 3 seconds quicker than Dean Reddit. So McNamara is on fire.
I'll have to let him
And
by.
Rainer Costello is on fire. He's coming up behind you.
Rainer Costello from on board the Goodyear Autocare Warana Mustang. In-race
So
comment from
fast,
him
Rainer.
when we can get to him, and just let him get to the elbow before you ask away, Kisby. Let him concentrate
Yeah.
on that difficult part of the course. Go for it, mate.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Rano what he would have done with his fuel strategy here. Would he have gone early, or would he have lengthened it out as far as he could? And what these guys should do.
Well, I've absolutely bottled it at the moment because I accidentally put my tyres on when I came in, so I'm going to have to spend the rest of the race. But I would probably run as long as I could in this first stint so that he'll have fresh tyres for the end.
Yeah, but you know the guys better than what we do, and you
Yeah.
race against them. So
Yeah, well-
you're pitting strategies all the time together. So that's why I asked you the question. Seeing as you're way back, we can get an insight into it.
I'd probably watch for what everyone around me's doing, and then based on that, I'd probably run as long as I possibly could without having to pit, make up a lot of ground, or if you're stuck back in the pack, you'd probably pit as early as you possibly could, get some clean air, come through the pack,
Right.
and
Yeah,
gain some
great
ground that way.
insight. Great insight. That's
Oh,
why we
up
have
mountain
in-car drivers.
Exactly right. Up mountain straight we go. 15 laps to go. Massive amount of cars coming into pit lane now. Crisdale, Angus, Schultz, Scholes, Turner and Jones as well. Jones to no doubt inspect the damage from the previous incident. Dylan Rudd's there doing a nice job in 21st position, but again, it's a case of what might have been in this second race. Damage control made a bit difficult after that opening lap shunt. Norris, Cooper, Barnes, Kirby, Brewer make up that running order down behind Dylan Rudd. And they also make up, with the exception of Rudd, and the exception of Brewer, I should say, cars that have already pitted. Jamie Dyke has already pitted as well. Top
Yep,
13
he's
yet
just
to
got the
stop.
jump on him. He's just got the undercut on him. So Rudd, Schultz, Angus, Norris, they're all coming out behind Jamie, and he's come out in 15th spot at this stage. Up 11 places, so he's done really, really well this race.
When's McNamara going to pit though, Kisby? That is the big question. He's on the charge. He's the fastest man at the moment on the track by a good 1.6 seconds from what my timing board's saying. So would it be it's the way of run as long as you can, make up as many positions as you can and get the jump on the guys behind you? Or would it be pit now, get the fresh tyres, and then really run the gauntlet there and try and get some track position in some clean air?
You're running two wards, aren't you?
Yeah, you do run 2 worlds, yes.
It's for me, I'd be trying to, if I'm catching the guys in front, where in some situations I've been in, I've had slower drivers in front of me where I didn't have to push the car to be able to be faster. So I'm in a bit of fuel conserving mode there, but I'd be pushing it out as far as I could to get the fresh tyres to the close of the race. So if I'm fuel saving and saving my tyres just that
Whoa!
little bit more.
Hang on a minute, Kissy. Hold the phone. Rod Hollis and Aaron Dodd have come together, and Aaron Dodd is sliding along the concrete barrier on the run to Murray's, and this is how it happened. Uh-oh. Got on the outside.
dear.
Oh, no! Bang!
Oh,
Massive crash.
Big
Massive
crash.
crash.
And
that
that's, I
will be
think that's
curtains
motor
for Aaron
gone for
Dodd.
Dodd.
I don't think he's going to be able to drive that one away. I think this is going to be the safety car that the guys that haven't stopped yet will be happy to see.
He's just
Unless he
requested a
can get
tow.
into a safe position.
He's just requested a tow.
This
will.
is brilliant for Sean McNamara.
And Sean
It's brilliant
says
for anyone at the front of the field.
571.
He's got around Reddit. He's fastest man on the track now with
On the track.
2:05.71.
Yep.
And if safety car is called now, McNamara in the pits, no doubt, fresh tyres. No, they can't.
Now, just
they-
remember as
they
well, yeah, iRacing safety car, so they won't be able to pit immediately. And iRacing as well, safety car is something that can still be deployed by our internal race control. For those of you that are wondering what's going on with our internal safety car, unfortunately, he got DQ'd from the server in the first race. He got given an early mark and has not returned for race 2. Poor Lee Davis. Such a good season, and then he can't finish it with everybody. So 14 laps to go, and we've got Dean Powell and Rick Sibber in the lane. Sean McNamara pressing on. Now this is interesting. No Aaron Dodd on the side of the road there. And do we have a safety car?
No safety
No,
car.
not as yet. Not as yet.
Safety car.
So
It's
no
full
safety
green.
car. So it did not play into the hands of these guys the way we thought it might have been. I'm a little bit surprised by that, given the rollover and given the request for a tow, but maybe race control have just been happy to let it slide on this occasion. Sean McNamara, Dean Reddit, and Ben Morris, the top 3 here. That's a game changer that we don't have a safety car at this point, boys.
Big game changer.
Okay. Matt Davis, you can just explain that situation as to why we might not have a safety car at this point, mate.
Yeah, I think race control will not deploy the safety car just to delay confusion about the pit lane. Obviously, under our live safety car that we use for the RSRA, we allow obviously drivers, as soon as the safety car is called, pit lane is open. But obviously, being with the iRacing safety car, pit lane is closed for the first lap. So obviously, to delay confusion within the drivers amongst the series, I think this race control is not going to deploy it. Just keep it green. Obviously, gave the yellow sector caution to the drivers whilst they removed Aaron Dodd from the circuit. And now that he's cleared of the circuit, it is all hands on deck, game on for racing. And don't be surprised to see McNamara in the next lap or two try and come in and get some fresh tyres, jump onto a bit of a quali set with fuel load and punch out. He's in 2:06.72 last time around. We'll see what he does this time around, but his fastest lap of the race at the moment, 2:05.71, where Dean Reddit behind him, 2:06.85. So McNamara in the pits. Reddit in the pits.
Follows. Benny Morris,
Powell's already
go as well.
Morris already, Benny Morris, yes. Danny Powell,
He's
though,
the
already
last one.
pitted.
Benny Morris is the last one. He jumps as well. Everybody has now pitted in this car race. McNamara in his box, Reddit and Morris heading to theirs now as well. We're watching Dean Powell. Now, what's interesting here, it was interesting listening to Matt Davis and Chris Kisby talk strategy, because you're really fighting 2 wars here. Do you want to take the tyres early and risk being on more worn rubber later? Or do you want to, have a look at this. McNamara moving, but Powell's going to have them covered to turn 1 and comfortably.
For how long, though? McNamara on fresh tyres. Powell's already used up the 3 laps or so that they get on the fresh rubber. So they're going to be starting to mellow out now. McNamara needs to get these tyres up to temp, and up to temp quickly. Look at that. He's not far away from Nitschke now. He's, Sibra, should I say. He's only 3.2 seconds. So we know that he's lapping about a second quicker than what Sibra's doing. So watch out for 3 laps time. McNamara is going to be all over the back of Rick Sibra.
Interesting to see 2 observations here, Chris Kisby. A, catching's one thing, passing's quite another in the instance
Exactly.
of Sean McNamara, both Rick Sibra and Dean Powell. He's going to have to fight that battle for the rest of the race. The second thing as well, interesting to see not one driver opt to go full distance on that stint of tyres and go for the rubber a little bit earlier. So everyone's going to be on slightly more worn rubber at the end of this race than they otherwise could have been had they gone lap 16. It's going to be interesting to see how that
Dylan Rudd's got a problem.
Oh, Dylan Rudd.
He's going slowly.
Down Conrad
Hang
into the
on.
chase. We've picked him up. Well picked up, Rainer Costello. How good's it having in-race commentary from Runaway Raider? And unfortunately, that might be Dylan Rudd parking it for the night, I'd say. He does not look good. And, I mean, he's got Rehan Leonage covered at the moment. But, I mean,
if Rudd retires from the race here, what is going to do to championship points?
Well, it'll be a DNF. It'll be 0 points for him. However, he leads by 153. The only bloke that could have stopped him is Rehan Leonage, and Leonage is nowhere in the points fight. So, yes, the championship margin will shrink significantly, but not enough to stop this guy from claiming the title. So it's going to be a DNF to end the season, and that's the only poor mark in it. I mean, it's a shame that he can't finish it off in some sort of style, but you can't take anything away from him in the 13 races leading up to it.
Oh, that's for sure. It's just been unbelievable racing from the guys this season here. It's just a bit of a shame, but as we said at the beginning of the broadcast, Bathurst just brings something out, and anything can happen in this fantastic track.
Oh, yeah.
Sibra's all over the back of Powell now. McNamara on the charge as well, boys. So we could have a three-way battle very shortly for the lead in the final race for Season 2. Turned the wick up all right, hasn't he, Chris Gilbey?
Oh, yeah, 205.9 there. So he's really starting to put the pressure onto the blue oval to Dean Powell. So I just got to hope that Dean keeps his head, makes that Mustang as wide as he possibly can, and holds him back there.
It's amazing. Every time you come here, you think you know how it's going to play out, but you throw the script out the window, you tear it up on the way. And that's the
Every
beauty of
single
this
time.
sacred piece of real estate known as Mt Panorama. We love it. It's steeped in history, not just nationally, but all around the world as well. And now making an extraordinary legacy in sim racing land as well. And at the moment, we're watching Sean McNamara put on a masterclass here, closing in on Rick Sibra, who's closing in on Dean Powell. And before too long, when these guys come back to the line, it's going to be 10 laps to go. Before too long, we will have a much anticipated three-way fight for the end of the race. Now, Rehan Leonage is limping to the lane as well. I think both our championship combatants are going to retire from this one. This is extraordinarily unlucky for the pair of them. We knew that the reverse grid race was going to be fraught with danger, Matt Davis, for so many reasons. Sean McNamara, fastest lap of the race, 205.41. But for the championship, I mean, the championship was pretty much decided. Let's not, beat around the bush. That was pretty much locked up, sealed, done, signed, delivered to Dylan Rudd. But for those guys to end this season with that, I mean, we thought that bad luck might strike, but for it to strike the two championship combatants, that is just so incredibly unlucky.
Please never reverse
the
good
commentator's
race
curse.
No more reverse good races. No more reverse grid races at Bathurst. The worst combo.
Hang on. Spoiler alert. Every single sprint race next season, we're not doing reverse grid races in terms of the two-race format. We're just doing a reverse grid race from the start for the...
Oh,
yeah.
that's fantastic.
And you're welcome, by the way. Now that he said it, I just thought...
I'm number 35 in each race.
Yeah.
Which means I'll be number 1.
Reverse grid Chicago straight circuit, wouldn't that be
Reverse
fun?
grid Chicago, that's going to be interesting.
Oh, dear. Now, on the subject of the calendar, we can joke about that as much as we like, and we only play on it because Raider's already pleading for no more reverse grid races here. I don't think you'll be alone in that cry for help either. But we will give you more information. We'll try and get Sean McNamara in one way or another to have a chat. And he can give you some insight into the calendar post-race here tonight. We are going to have a cast of thousands in here at the end of this race because we're going to have the top 3 from the race. We're going to have the top 3 for the round. We're going to have the top 3 in the Triple Crown. We're going to have the top 3 in the championship. All in here post-race. Don't go to bed.
A long post-race, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't go to bed. Plenty to talk about in what will be, as Matt Davis just said, a long post-race show tonight. And we are here
longest one
for
we're
the
probably going to be
duration,
having as well.
up until the 1,000. Now, Rick Sibra closing in on Dean Powell. Sean McNamara closing in on Sibra. So all of a sudden, you got the top 3 separated in this race by less than 1.4 seconds with 9 laps to go. We've got
McNamara, fastest lap of the race, 2:05.36 now. He is
flying. He is flying. A 2:06.65 for Power, a 2:06.3 for Sibra, a 2:06.2 for McNamara, a 2:06.5 for Reddit. Sorry, 2:05.2 I should say. And so he's a second quicker than these guys. So they're in trouble when he can find a way past. Then a 2:06.3 for Reddit, 2:06.4 for Crisdale, 2:06.4, a 7 I should say, for Jamie Dyke. Simon Chadwick, Ben Morris, Michael Angus and Hayden Norris make up the top 10 at the moment. Rainer Costello back in pit lane. So too Jacob Brewer and Dylan Rudd. Rainer, is that your night done, or are you just getting tyres and fuel in this instance?
No, I'm just getting fuel and taking the last few minutes of repairs to try and get some more pace out of this thing.
Well, if only there was a bonus point for the fastest lap, I think I know what Rainer would be going after at this point.
Now, as you said before, Zach, it is one thing to be fastest on track, and it is another thing to get around these 2 cars in front.
I reckon he'll make the move down into the chase. He's going to set this up. Not a great run out of the elbow for the car in front in Rick Sibra. This is an opportunity for Sean McNamara to set this up to get the tow. Dean Powell's checking out. McNamara needs to clear Sibra here. It is a chance of going with Dean Powell. Down Conrad they come. The nose pokes out. And now McNamara will send it down the inside. The 951 is trying to go to second, but look at Sibra making off difficult. Unbelievable. Defense from Sibra. Look at this. He's not going to make life easy for the 951. This is a fantastic scrap.
And he shouldn't.
Not at all. Absolutely. He has no need. There's no reason for him to make the life. Yeah.
There's big talk in other platforms of if you know the guy behind you's faster, you should let him through. I said, no, you shouldn't. If you're on the same lap, fight for it.
Oh,
it's
exactly
right.
Run.
Now,
it's got the run on Sibra.
Down the inside. Take it, Matt.
McNamara up the inside of Sibra, mountain straight, 2 wide into Griffin's corner. Sibra backs out, but it allows McNamara through. McNamara up in the second position and chasing after Dean Powell for that number 1 position in the final race for the RSRA SuperSeries, brought to you by SimShed Broadcasting, ladies and gentlemen.
1.25 the margin first to second at the moment. I expect that to disintegrate pretty quickly.
Oh. Hold up, he was.
Should be done too. Is that okay? So he knew he was faster. He knew he held him out. He tried to make the block stick. Couldn't. Didn't have a second chance. So that's it. He got around him, and that's all fair.
That last time around. You're right, Kisby. Go on. I didn't realise.
Oh yeah, no, it's all fair when, especially when you're on the same lap, and this talk of elite drivers slower drivers letting elite drivers through is just absolute nonsense. So get in there, race it out, and then if you're good enough to get around, especially in this situation, get around. Once he knew he was overtaken, he let him have it, and that's how it should be. And hats off to all those drivers. So that was really good racing.
It certainly was. Now, just for interest's sake, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, 161.538 kilometres is the race distance of this second race tonight. So the first race was just on 99 Ks. This one is on 161, which is a famous number around here for so many reasons. And in December, we will be back for 161 laps, and we can hardly wait for that. 20 of 26, 7 to go. McNamara's already taken 0.3 of a second out of Powell's advantage at the front of the field. He's leaving Sibra in the rear view mirror. Reddit is 4th, Christoph 5th, and Jamie Dyke 6th. So just going through the field here, 23 positions gained for Sean McNamara from 25th to 2nd, 15 for Robert Christoph from 20th to 5th, 20 for Jamie Dyke from 26th to 6th, and that could be 3rd, maybe 2nd in the title. Who knows? Simon Chadwick, 17 positions gained. Then Ben Morris, 13 positions gained. They're 7th and 8th, respectively, at the moment. 11 for Cameron Jones in 23rd, but it's a case of what might have been, given his early troubles. And then a whole stack of losers. And the attrition rate has been something fierce in this race, Matt Davis. There are 6 cars currently in pit lane. Dylan Pereira's out of the race. Brian Cooper's out of the race. Rod Hollis, Rainer Costello, Peter Crossingham all soldiering on, but they are 2 and 4 laps down, respectively. And look at the commitment over the top of the mountain from Dean Powell right now.
McNamara gets almightily close in a Brocky skyline. And even closer coming into the dipper. Oh, these boys are absolutely on the limit now. 6 laps to go. Lap 20 of 26, ladies and gentlemen. Pereira, Turner, Dodd, Leonidas Kubanitsky.
Oh, no.
McNamara's just nudged the wall. What's that going to do to the performance of the vehicle? Did he take enough damage to hinder the performance of that?
Now back to this battle between Cameron Jones and also Sam Noble at the moment. And also Michael Angus, if you don't mind. It's a 3-way fight for 10th. My last spot in the 10 up for grabs here. Michael Angus would love to hold on to it. Sam Noble has a point to prove for the 9-5 SimSport team. And Cameron Jones, well, he's a man on a mission after the problems he had earlier. Lap 20 of 26 here. McNamara's been hurt by that skirmish with the wall. And now Dean Powell is out by a second here and has a real chance of grabbing a win. McNamara now needs to worry about holding off Sibra and potentially getting up to Dean Powell, but that's really compromised his run. Last time round, 206.4 for Powell, 206.5 for McNamara, 206.6 for Rick Sibra. They're holding station at the moment. We ride on board with McNamara. We've got 37 kilometres of racing left around Mt Panorama to round out the RSRA Super Series and the Goodyear Autocare Warana Bathurst SuperSprint. Big wobble from McNamara coming through Griffin's Bend. The commitment's there. The pace isn't. He's got some damage and he's got to try and persevere with it, Matt Davis, for the next 5 3/4 laps.
And McNamara's running some pretty big damage on that car. You can see he's dropped back to now 1.32 seconds behind Dean Powell. So he's going to have his work cut out for him, especially going across the top of the mountain. By the looks of it, he might have had a little bit of steering damage coming to the front of that car. The steering wheel seems pretty straight from this point of view right here. But Dean Powell, he's just managed to maintain that lead that he's got over McNamara. So it's now up to McNamara to try and make it up within the braking zones. And another big wobble. So could be even a little bit of rear damage to McNamara.
You look at Sean's car, depending over Dean's car. Dean's is crispy shiny as if it was the first lap. Sean's car is just absolutely panels everywhere, both sides of the car.
What are your thoughts on this, Matt Davis, as we edge closer? Can Dean Powell hold on to the conclusion of the race, I should say? I should finish my sentences before moving on to the next one. But what are your thoughts here, mate, as we edge closer? We've got 5 laps to go next time by the line, so that's going to be just on 31 Ks. And McNamara and Powell are going to duke it out for the win. But this is Dean Powell's to lose, in my opinion. I'm interested in your thoughts.
McNamara's got the work cut out for him. Sustaining some damage, trying to chase down Dean Powell. He's making up space here and there. Cam Jones at the moment through the chase. Can he get the move? Then he throws it up the inside.
Whoa!
Can't get it done.
Tell you
Big
what,
jump of the
commitment.
curb by Jones, though. Big commitment. And now he's got Dean Alessi all over the back bumper of him now. So it's a 3-way scrap. Michael Angus, Cameron Jones, Dean Alessi battling it out here for 11th position. But McNamara's got his work cut out for him. Dean Powell, he's led majority of the race so far. And he's done well at it. But, oh no. Something happened a little bit. Oh no. Timing Boy's just playing a little bit of hanky-panky with us at the moment. Dean Powell dropped off the leaderboard altogether. We thought he lost the internet connection. We've had a few issues to with that one, boys. Oh, it would have
Yeah,
been.
I'm
It would
in-
have been. And that
I'm
would
in
have
the
been a
cockpit
head-hanging
with
moment.
McNamara at the moment, and Dean Power's flashing in front of him, but the steering seems to be straight on Sean's car. It seems to lack steering into the corners, and he's sliding left and right as he's going through. So can't quite pick what's wrong. He's
Right,
just
that's huge.
crossed it up into the dipper.
The post-race, you're going to hear from an enormous bunch of drivers here, folks. Dean Powell, Sean McNamara, Rick Sibber at this stage will be here to chat post-race. As far as the championship's concerned, well, we'll have Rehan Leonage, we'll have Dylan Rudd, and we'll have also, most likely, Jamie Dyke, I think it'll be, in here. As far as the Triple Crown's concerned, same again. And as far as the round's concerned, well, who the hell knows how the points are going to play out here. Sure, McNamara is going to be right in contention. 5 to go, and that's going to become 4 this time by the line. Powell leads, holding station over McNamara. McNamara doing his best to strangle this car and wrestle it around 4 more times. We have been racing for 47 minutes and 15 seconds. It's going to be an enormously quick sprint race here. No doubt about that. But the problem is we kicked our safety car driver out. Otherwise, we probably would have seen 2 safety car periods at least in this race, given what we've seen, Kisby. And the problem with bunching the field up is that safety cars breed safety cars. So I'm saying that there have been 2 incidences that probably would have warranted a safety car, but it could have been more once you bunch the field up time and time again. So it's a case of what might have been for a few of these guys tonight, given the issues that we had with Lee Davis dropping out. But take nothing away from Dean Powers. As McNamara closes right up and sniffs an opportunity here. It's on in earnest once more. Ford versus Holden. This is what this place breeds on. Mount Panorama, it is the history of the Ford v Holden battle. It's alive and well on a Tuesday night on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting. And this place just thrives on this battle each and every October. Now it's going to do it on the first Tuesday of September as well. 4 months to go. Next time by the line. It's a 1-line groove down through the dipper and on the run towards the elbow. And Dean Powers now in defensive mode.
I'll just make it here as well, Zach Caban. I've just had a message from Jono from Race Control. He's been watching McNamara and how the car's handling and sent me a little message on the side. McNamara is sustaining a lot of front-end damage, hindering the aerodynamic performance, the top-end speed. So he's going to be lucky enough here. He's now finally got the slipstream on Dean Powell. McNamara, though, has to find the time under brakes as he does it into the end of the chase here in turn 21.
So how much experience has Dean Powell had? I mean, we haven't spoken too much about him over the season, but is he an experienced campaigner, or can he sustain that pressure from one of the faster drivers through the back there? Enlighten me, guys.
There aren't too many guys that have experienced race victory in this series, Matt Davis, but Dean Powell would be a new name on the list, I think I'm right in saying.
Yeah, Dean Powell definitely be a new name on the list. He's been with us for as long as I've been with the the Nationwide Technologies or tracking systems back when I first started, which then changed to the Nationwide Technology Systems. McNamara has a quick look up the inside of Powell, can't get it done. And then obviously now with the RSRA. So seasoned veteran Dean Powell is. Race victory wise, this will be a first for Dean Powell.
Well, that'll hold him better being a veteran and in racing, so he'll have a little bit of sitting there to absorb a bit of that pressure where a new driver like myself would get really panicky at this stage of the race with someone like coming on at me that fast. I tend to get a little bit panicky when they come in this fast at me there, so hopefully he'll just settle himself down and make his car as wide as he can and keep McNamara at bay.
Peter crossing him back in pit lane on that note as well. Sorry, Rainer, go, mate.
Dean Powell's a great driver. He's had glimpses of pace at different tracks here and there, but yeah, he's hasn't had the best of luck, but he's doing pretty well tonight.
A bobble and a wobble from McNamara going out of the dipper. He's got a good run on the Conrad now. He's in the slipstream. Let's have a look at this. Is he close enough to make a move? He pulls out of the draft and goes for it. Dean Powell's under all sorts of pressure here. Now, is McNamara able to go with him with straight line speed and hold this line on the outside? Fastest corner in Australian motorsport. It's a breaking duel at the chase. McNamara to the lead.
Get the rear brakes locked up.
Wow. Oh, you cannot write scripts like this. What drama on the mountain. What a season. What a championship. What a finale. Unbelievable.
What pressure
Well,
from
2 laps
McNamara.
to go. McNamara the leader by 2.4 seconds. And you're absolutely right, Chris Kisby. What pressure from McNamara and Dean Powell. I mean, dead set unlucky in the fair income department, as Ray Warren would say. But
It was
he
all
has done
fair.
so well to withstand that pressure up until that point, and one pinch break is all it takes.
Yep, all fair
Ben
pressure
Morris
too,
down
and
the
that's what
inside
you
as
like to
well.
see. Absolutely.
Ben
magnificent.
Morris to go up. Sorry, Kisby. Ben Morris just going up past, was it Jamie Dyke there? So very nicely done. And Ben Morris moves up into position number 7. Our timing screen's starting to give out on us, so we're a little bit behind on that. But in the meantime, have a look at this. Cameron Jones all over the back of Sam Noble as well. This is for 10th. Lap 25 at 26. That was an insane piece of racing. And speaking of insane, have a look at that. Michael Angus. Are you kidding me? On the inside of Dean Alessi, 12th and 13th. Those guys are going at it right here and now.
Come on, Dean, you
This
got
is
time.
an awesome conclusion to the season. Sure, we're not going to get the grandstand finish at the front of the field now that McNamara is 2.5 seconds clear, and an inch is as good as a mile for that bloke. But we have seen one heck of a fight from Dean Powell and Rick Sebra, helped by the reverse grid factor, no two ways about it. But the fact that they were able to stay there for as long as they did, all credit to them. Dean Reddit as well, from 7th up to 4th. When given an opportunity at the front of the field, it's great to see these guys convert that opportunity, Matt Davis.
Oh, just unmute yourself there. Quick. I wasn't really sure you're going to be jumping straight to me. No, it is a good opportunity for these guys. And look, I'm just going to make special mention to an old teammate of mine, Dean Powell. He's unfortunate there for him coming into the chase with Sean McNamara. It was a breaking. Who had the biggest brakes left on the car, who could push the brake pedal the furthest, and unfortunately Dean Powell found the limit of how far he could pinch the brake pedal, pinched the rear brakes and just came around. But he's had an absolute stellar drive in this reverse grid
He's
race.
a blinder, absolute blinder.
Absolute blinder for him. He's led majority of it, and unfortunately, oh, Jones!
Oh,
no! It's one! This goes round, almost takes out.
What?
Oh, who was that just zipped past him?
That was Dean Alessi. Dean Alessi. So Dean Alessi goes to 11th. Sam Noble clings on to 10th. This was Morris and Angus and Jones. I'll get there eventually. And Cameron up on the inside. Who didn't give way? Or was it just
Cam
that?
Jones
Yeah, it's the bounce back on the exit. It's Cam Jones, unfortunately, going a little bit too wide on the exit with Michael Angus with nowhere to go. And then the rejoin, bang. I don't know what race control will make of that. One thing's for certain, fireworks have ensued right to the very end. Jones rejoins in 14th, Angus in 12th. Gone is their chance of a top 10 finish tonight.
I know
Wow,
what I'd rule.
fireworks right to the end, Chris Kisby.
Oh yeah, I know how I'd see that one, but we'll leave it into race control's hands and see what happens there. But and that's the way you want racing, right to the end. You've got to have a bit of door banging and tight racing right to the end. But you've still got to follow your lines. You've still got to hold to the race rules and make yourself get around the outside there, make the pass clean, or give way if you have to give way. But fantastic racing again tonight. And you're right, mate. All three of us are going to end up with hoarse voices.
It's an anticlimactic finish as far as the championship is concerned. That will go to Dylan Rudd. But 9.5 Sim Sport will still end the night on top because Sean McNamara is coming into the last corner to take the checkered flag and win the final race of the season. His second win of the season in a season of what might have been for the 951. 9.5 Sim Sport do the double at the mountain, and Sean McNamara goes from 25th to 1st. in an all-star masterclass performance reverse grid style on the best 6.213 kilometres of real estate anywhere in the world.
Oh,
Dean Powell
it's gotta
second,
be.
Rick Sibra third, Dean Reddit fourth, Robert Crisdale fifth. If you've had that backed with sports better to be paying a monster, let me tell you. Simon Chadwick,
Yeah.
Ben Morris, Jamie Dyke, Hayden Norris, and Sam Noble make up the top 10. Dina Lessie will come home in 11th. And now we get to watch these guys celebrate on their way down the hill. Matthew Scholes was just
Gotta get
behind
home
Michael
first.
Angus. Michael Angus 12th, Scholes 13th. Cameron Jones is in the pit lane now in 14th. Then it was, as they all
Look at the
very
respect
much
shown there.
slow themselves down to enjoy this slow down lap, the
Yep.
end of the season. Well done. Well done to Dean Powell. Superb performance. Cameron Jones 14th. Alan Dawson 15th. Lindsay Hobbs 16th. David Kirby 17th. All of this is provisional, by the way, folks. There might be a change here for Cameron Jones, obviously. Then Craig Schultz, Chris Barnes, Rainer Costello will come home in 20th, and he at least finished.
Yep.
75% mark was 20 laps in all of that. So Peter Crossingham will get there for 21st. The rest will not. Long list of retirements. Rod Hollis, Jacob Brewer, Dylan Rudd, Brenton Nitschke, Brian Cooper, Rehan Leonage, Aaron Dodd, Kai Turner, and Dylan Pereira. What a dramatic night on the mountain. But well done to Dylan Rudd, champion in season 2. He wins the RSRA Super Series, and by quite a margin as well.
Margin and a half. We saw last season 1 point separated first and second, Zach and Chris, and this season bit of a change. It's quite a margin at 150 plus points.
All I'm going to say on that, Kisby, is if that sets the scene for what will be the Bathurst 1000 in the late part of December as we push towards Christmas, holy hell, we're in for one hell of a show.
Oh, that is for sure. And unfortunately, I'll probably miss the bulk part of the race if it's on the weekend, and that because obviously I got the coffee cart to run, but I'll get in as soon as I can, or as soon as I get home. But looking forward to that so much.
I was going to say, it surprises me that coffee salespeople, like, I'm one of those people, I can't drink hot liquids in summer, I can only drink them in winter. So it's got me mesmerised how people can stomach coffee in summer. But then But then again, it is only Tasmania, so your summers are as good as a winter up here.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean,
Plus,
doesn't surprise me.
Plus, I do iced coffees as well, and iced chocolate.
Yeah,
So
that's the main.
I sell
Now
a
you're
lot of
talking.
those.
Now you're talking. Righto, crank up the volume.
Oh,
We'll
here we
look
go.
at Tom McNamara do his thing.
There he goes. He's lighting them up now. Well, it's 10 points to cut because it's a red circle.
All right, folks. That was a beautiful celebration from Sean McNamara. That one meant a lot to him. We knew he had pace tonight. He set out and proved it. Brilliant stuff. And it was a solid performance in the first race as well. So as far as the race results are concerned, well, it was 6-4 in favour of Holden. McNamara from Powell, Sibra, Reddit, Crisdale, Chadwick, Norris, Dyke, Morris. Norris. So Morris, Dyke, Norris. I'll get it right eventually. Sorry, getting my M's and my N's mixed up. Sam Noble was 10th. Don't laugh just yet, Kisby. Over the page we go. It was 5-5 in the second portion here. Dina Lessie, Michael Angus, Matthew Scholes, Cameron Jones, Alan Dawson take us back to 15th. Then Lindsay Hobbs, David Kirby, Craig Schultz, Chris Barnes. Then young Runaway Rainer in 20th.
Yeah.
Then over the page we go. Peter Crossingham was the last of the classified finishes. All these guys will be DNFs. Rod Hollis, Dylan Rudd. Then Jacob Brewer, Brian Cooper, Brenton Nitschke, Aaron Dodd, Rehan Leonage, Kai Turner, and poor old Dylan Pereira, who's had a night well and truly to forget. And that is that as far as this round of the RSRA Super Series is concerned. We've got one hell of a post-race show coming your way here, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to hear from the top three for the round We're going to hear from the top three for the race. We're going to hear from the top three for the Triple Crown. We're going to hear from the top three for the championship, and then we'll have a look ahead to season 3 as well. Whilst we've still got Rainer Costello here, though, because I know you're on a curfew. I know that Rehan Leonage isn't as much time certain as he would normally be because Melbourne's in lockdown. He's homeschooling. He can sleep in tomorrow morning, catch up tomorrow afternoon. Jamie Dyke's on his way in here. It'll be good to catch up with him too. But while we've still got you, Rainer, obviously not the result you would have been hoping for tonight in race 2, but certainly whets the appetite for season 3, mate. You must be so hungry to sink your teeth into season 3 and have a real proper crack this time round after you were denied the opportunity to do so in season 2.
Yeah, definitely. But first of all, I'd just like to say good job to everyone, the Triple Crown winners, the championship winners, the round winners from tonight as well. Well done to Dylan on the championship. Shame I couldn't be up there to fight him, but for the races I was here, it was a whole lot of fun. Enjoyed every moment of it. And yeah, can't wait for next season.
Now, on that note, can we just point out too that there will be a couple of drivers that will need to be called back to Discord because they've probably just checked out and gone to start the celebrations or gone to commiserate, depending upon who they are and what the night has been. But there are a couple of drivers that we will need to get to come back and rejoin us here for round calculations, championships, and the like. So if you're watching the broadcast and you know you're going to be in the top 3 in any of the 4 things I've just mentioned, race, round, championship, and Triple Crown, come back and join us. I'm not sure how it goes on Triple Crown points. It might be Jamie Dyke stealing it at the death there because he got 2 finishes tonight. So let that sink in for a moment. Whereas Dylan Rudd and Rehan Leonage unfortunately fell over at the last hurdle. Chris Kisby were on the money.
Told you, watch him.
The spirit of Tasmania. So in the room at the moment, Dean Powell, Dylan Rudd, Jamie Dyke, Rainer Costello, Rehan Leonage, Rick Sibra, and Sean McNamara. Rainer, thank you so much for giving us your time tonight and throughout the course of the season. Terrific to have your insights during that race. Not that we gave you much time to get a word in, I apologise. In saying all of that, mate, what are you most looking forward to with regards to season 3? I mean, we haven't seen a schedule yet. We're going to get Sean McNamara to elaborate on that for us a little bit later on if he can. But what are you most looking forward to with regards to next season?
I'd say I'm most looking forward to hopefully completing all the races, but should be good. Another chance to have another go at it, see what we can do, see if we can get some more pace out of the number 44 machine, and yeah, should be a good fight again.
Excellent stuff. Now, Rick Sibra is going to rejoin us. He just dropped out of the room there momentarily. Let's, hey, Rainer, stick around, mate, if you can, because I'm going to get some information with regards to next season. I'm going to pick the brain of our race winner in just a moment as we push towards the back end of this broadcast. And it's going to take a little while for JP to crunch all the numbers. So we've got as many drivers here as we can for the moment. Let's start dissecting all of that because we could be here till midnight. Fair dinkum. Sean McNamara, firstly, get your hands out and smash them together, ladies and gentlemen. That was a masterclass from a master driver. A 9.5 Sim Sport double. Your teammate wins race 1, wraps up the championship. You win race 2. You guys have had a good night out despite the fact that Dylan wasn't able to take the checkered flag to ice the championship in that second race.
Yeah, spot on. Obviously, it's all about Dylan and picking up the championship and getting the number 1 back on a 9.5 car. But yeah, really, look, disappointed, I guess, for some of the guys in that second race. And Pete Crossley had a bit of a rough one, and he was on for a top 5 in the championship as well. So really happy with where the pace is, and the boys have done a stunning job this season. And once I got through those first few laps in that second race, it was kind of head down, thumb up. And yeah, I sent it pretty hard on the outside of Dean and then up into the inside of the chase. So hopefully that was fair for both of us. And yeah. Yeah, so I think there was a bit of space, but if there wasn't, Dean, I do apologise if I was a bit forceful there. But it was really good racing with everyone tonight, and yeah, bloody ball.
It's one of those things, isn't it, Sean? We mentioned it in the broadcast because there were 2 separate incidents. Both involving Kai Turner, actually, as Matt Davis will attest. Where they were 2x2 going into the chase. One time round, there was contact. It didn't work out. You know, it wasn't as clean as it could have been. The other time, beautiful execution of an overtaking maneuver. on the outside into the chase, putting themselves on the outside, on the inside going into the chase and on the outside coming out. A brilliant performance from Kai Turner to execute those passing maneuvers. But in that situation, mate, and you know this better than anybody else, you got to place so much trust in the guy alongside you, because you put a wheel out of place, you rub one panel, it goes from being clean racing to catastrophic crash like that.
Yeah, spot on. And one thing I think, the entire admin team and all the drivers as well, the first couple of rounds were a little bit clunky as everyone felt themselves out. But I think all the way through the field now there's a really good respect. And it's Bathurst, there's mountain, there's concrete walls and a reverse grid. There's always going to be a bit of action, let's say. But I think all in all, there's a lot of respect across all the drivers, and it's really starting to show with the quality of what we're producing. So it's a massive wrap. And race control, of course, as well. They've controlled the incidents really well, and they've been consistent and fair all season. So it lays a good platform for everyone to understand what it is that is expected of them.
Bit of breaking news from the real world before we went on air tonight, and it's the worst kept secret in Formula One. George Russell confirmed at Mercedes for next season as well, alongside Lewis Hamilton. So all Brits at the German team, and based out of Britain, but looking forward to seeing how they go. For those of you just joining us, that is the news from the real world. We're focusing on the sim world for the rest of the night, though, and reflecting on an awesome 12th and final round of the RSRA Super Series, the DSL Welding Triple Crown, and of course the Goodyear Autocare Warana Bathurst SuperSprint. I got that right this time round. Fantastic.
You did.
Yes. Much to the delight of and amusement of Kisby and Davis, I might add. Sean, let's stay with you, mate. Two race wins in recent weeks, isn't it? So that's a good confidence booster for you going into season 3, and you can only hope that the season starts a hell of a lot better than what season 2 did.
Yeah. I think I made up for 80% of the safety cars this season. But yeah, it should be a better one if we can just get off a good start. And we'll see how we go. But definitely got pace in the car, and having Dylan and Aaron on board's been mega with data sharing and bits and pieces. So it's improved my driving in bits and pieces. But you can always learn, you can always get better. So nice way to finish off the season. Always feel comfortable. It's gutted in that first race. I really didn't have the setup for the car. But yeah, it was good. We'll bring on the back end of the year.
Stay there, mate, because we're going to come back to you, A, to get some thank yous, and B, to pick your brain on the new season, because I haven't seen the calendar yet. I don't know how long it is, but you are an integral part of this team, and it's a team where many hands make light work. So I'm going to get pick your brain on that a little bit later on, because whilst JP runs the show from the top, the guys underneath put it all together, and Sean's one of the guys that makes the calendar happen for us and the race formats and everything else. So I'm going to pick his brain on that a little bit later on. Let's move on here and bring in Dean Powell and Rick Sibra. Unbelievable effort from you two blokes. I mean, Dean Powell, it's unfortunately for you, mate, a case of what might have been. You held off, you withstood the pressure from Sean McNamara for so long there, and eventually yielded by the slightest slip of the brake coming through the chase, mate, but still second. What a performance.
Yeah, I had a really good run. I just tried to keep it clean, made a few passes at the start, just tried to put my head down and make a bit of a gap, and then I could see Sean coming through, and I was just keeping an eye on him, but I don't know if he had a bit of damage there at the end there or something, because he was a bit...
Oh, he did.
Yeah. He sort of wasn't catching me, and then right at the end he sort of caught up to me, and yeah, I just tried to go as deep as I could into the chase, and I just snatched the right end front, and sort of, yeah, that was the end of it.
Now, just on all of that, the fact that we didn't have safety cars, well, we didn't have a safety car in that second race. We had green flag pit stops. There were so many extenuating circumstances that shook the order up in this race, not least the crashes on the opening couple of laps as well. But it played into the favour of you guys at the pointy end of town. Those of you that were able to convert the opportunity that came from being the beneficiaries of the invert and starting at the front end of the field. You found clear air, you stuck with it, and really the only person that was able to weave their way through the field with any sort of consummate ease was Sean McNamara. So it was one of those races where we didn't know how it was going to play out, and that's proven by the finishing order here. But were you surprised at A, the carnage behind you, B, the fact that we didn't get a safety car, and C, that it took McNamara as long as it did to catch you?
Not surprised because I figured it's not going to be an overly easy place to pass. There is a few good spots, but I probably expected a few of the other guys to probably be there before him. I had a shocker in the first race, so I had the big setup change during the break, and it worked out really well. So yeah, once I got to the front, I just head down, bum up, and I thought if they catch me, they catch me. But I'm just going to do my thing.
Well, I was willing for your that Mustang of yours to be too wide when Sean was coming through around the back there, and as we all know, I'm a big Blue Oval fan. And yeah, Sean, I did get your Facebook thing in, and I have accepted it there, but it was a fair, clean pass, pressure, beautiful, and yeah, it was great on that. But Dean, yeah, absolute marvellous drive. I was watching right the way through there, and bringing the attention back to the boys on what you were doing out the front there. And when Sean got a bit of damage here, I thought, oh, you've got this. And then, but at somewhere he found some more extra pace. But yeah, well done. And unfortunately, just couldn't keep him out on that last corner.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's still my best result in the series, and it's probably the most fun I've had in one of the races here. So,
well, I did mention there. Did mention there through the thing. We hadn't called your name too much, and we didn't know too much about it. Well, I certainly didn't know too much about you coming from the race. But Matt actually brought us up to speed to say that you were a seasoned competitor. So the reason I did that was because I didn't know how you would handle the pressure of the faster drivers coming through. Now, a driver like me that isn't as experienced doesn't handle that pressure very well, but a more seasoned driver will handle it better. And yeah, and that's when things happen for you at the end there. But yeah, no, great drive.
Yeah, normally I am the first guy to lock up and run off and lose the spots. So I'm sort of fairly aggressive usually, but yeah, I don't know, just managed to keep it together. I thought once I saw Sean coming, I thought he was good chance he was going to catch me. So I just played that one as it came.
If car condition is any indication, mate, you are an A+, because if you look at Sean McNamara's car, it is dense from one end to the other, paint. They're all going to hate him back at the garage. But your car was crystal clear, crisp, as if it was round turn one. So all good to you, mate. So apart from that lock-up, did you get a 1X for that lock-up?
I finished with 3 in the end.
3? Oh, yeah. Excellent. Well done.
I'll be bloody amazed if we've got a list of more than 5 that have had a clean race at all tonight.
I think Sean hit every brick wall going through trying to catch Dean.
You'll be happy to know I've got a 0 time. So
there you go.
I was pretty gutted actually looking at Dean's car with that sunset coming down. It looks stunning. I thought mine probably looked like a busted something.
I did make that comment, mate, that you had both sides of your car was just absolutely concrete stricken, and yet Dean's car clean as a whistle, mate.
To be fair, how many cars did Sean pass?
24. 24. Now
I wasn't going to bring that into it.
Now, can we just go back to Dean Powell for a moment? You mentioned this is your best result in the series. Am I right in saying that the previous best was a third in one of the other reverse grid races? Earlier in the year? Because I think we've spoken to you once before.
I think I got a 4th at Spa. I think that's the best.
There, gotcha. Yep.
Probably last year, yeah.
Yeah, and we brought the top 5 in on that occasion. That makes, very well done. Stay there, mate. I'm going to come back to you. Rick Sibra, let's bring Rick in here. I mean, you moved up 2 spots. You had a good fight with Dean Powell. You held Sean McNamara up for a little bit, and you brought it home on the podium, mate. You've had a good night out.
Yeah, mate, had a good night the second race, but yeah, the first one wasn't so good. I was just about to start my last flying lap in quali, and my computer just fully shut down. So, mate, hence the bloody pit lane start for the first one. So I think I got in, and the last car was just leaving the pit lane, so that was rough. And then the pressure was on to try and catch the tail of the field, and then I made a couple of mistakes, and it just kept getting worse and worse. But I stuck it out, and I wasn't too keen on starting on P1 with all those boys behind me. So I was quite happy to sit where I was for the start of the second. So I knew it was just going to be a matter of time before the boys come through. I was looking in the mirror quite a bit. Seen Mac.
Never look in the mirror.
I was just a matter of time, mate. I seen Macca bearing down. I thought, yeah, no, I'm not going to make this too hard. I had a plan. I thought if Macca puts some pressure on Dean, it'll slow both of them down, and off I'll go. But didn't come to that. But anyway, still happy with the third, and yeah, good race to the boys. Well done
That's
to
the way you got to
Macca and
look at
Dean.
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's it, mate. I wasn't gonna be too silly. Like, he was coming at a rate of knots, and I'm like, there's either two things can happen here. I can stuff both of our races, or just slow us both down, and I didn't want to do either of those. So just I made it a little bit hard there in one section today. He's not just gonna drive by. I'll let him know that I'm not gonna just lay down and let him go. But yeah, that's what that'll do. So just let him off.
And neither should you, mate. And we did
Nah.
make comment of that during the broadcast, is that even though they are faster drivers, you still, if you're on the lead lap, fighting for the lead, you should be able to sit there and race them. Now,
Yeah.
once you realise that they're going to get past you, that's it, you back off. But until that point, you must race them, and they must try to get around you. And it was good credit to all of you. A, because you tried to make it hard for him, and B, that once you realised he got the best here, that was it, let him go.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, Macca's got a lot of respect for him, mate, and the way he drives. So he's not going to do anything stupid. He's a fair, clean, probably one of the best, going around. So yeah, there's no use causing a rift there.
Well, yeah, exactly. Hey, Dino, just going back to you for a moment before I get some championship points and everything else up on screen here, because we've got a fair bit to dissect, as you know. 23rd in qualifying, not the easiest night at the office there. Was it a case of traffic? Was it a case of not being able to put a lap together? Because race 2 proved that you've got some sort of pace there.
Yeah, it was all set up. I just couldn't stop the car under the heavy braking. So that's why I sort of had a big bold stab at it for the second one, and it was night and day. That was the big difference. And like, I've done plenty of laps around here. I'm pretty comfortable. I just couldn't get it to stop at the chase and the top of turn 2 at Griffins in the first race. So, and qualifying was the same problem.
All right, let's put you blokes out of your misery. Here's how the round finished up tonight. Actually, no, we can't go to that just yet. We'll wait for it on the screen here. And in terms of it's kind of like that Australian Idol winner announcement moment where they say the winner is, and then there's just this big pause for 15 seconds. We're building the suspense, and you're just sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for it. We'll get to round points in just a moment. We've got Dylan Rudd standing by to have a chat about the championship. We've got Rehan Leonage standing by as well. We'll get his account of the night in just a few moments. We've got Sean McNamara still here as well, and we've got Jamie Dyke too. We need to get to Jamie Dyke very shortly for Triple Crown and also for championship.
I'm going to enjoy that.
Well, I thought yes. Chris Kisby, we've loved having you in the commentary box throughout the course of the season. Good to get the band back together tonight with Matt Davis as well. Now, actually, just while we wait for those championship points, for the round points, and then obviously we'll get the championship and Triple Crown as well. Matt Davis, obviously tough act to follow, but you've got 2 nights worth of RSRA Super 2E series coming up, mate. Just talk us through the next couple of nights, because you're getting 2 for the price of 1 this week, ladies and gentlemen. You are getting Wednesday Night Motorsport, and you are getting a special brand spanking new edition of Thursday Night Motorsport as well on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting.
Mate, don't remind me. As soon as I jump in the booth tonight to get the boys back in town and jump back on the Tuesday Night Motorsport, I instantly regret it, because I knew that I had tomorrow night and Thursday night. But no, getting two nights for the price of 1, ladies and gentlemen, on the SimShed Broadcasting platform for the RSRA Super 2 E Series. And what better way to do it? The boys from Super 2, they always get the short end of the stick sometimes. So we thought we'd give them the righteous way to do it around Bathurst and send them out in qualifying tomorrow night. And then obviously we all know what happens around Bathurst with the fastest 10. It leads to a top 10 shootout. So the boys from the Super 2 E Series are going to be duking it out for a top 10 shootout tomorrow night. And that kicks off from about 7:45 so 7:45 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And then Thursday Night Motorsport, we do the endurance round of Bathurst. So that's going to be a cracking race. And 2 nights for the price of 1, boys. It's going to be a buster on the vocal cords, but mate, I'm looking forward to it. And Wednesday night we will be,
yes,
mate. We're
yes.
Wednesday night we well and truly will be finished by 9
And,
o'clock. But
and
no,
that's
it's going to
the
be the
reason
warm up for
why.
the. What's that? Sorry, Zach.
That's the reason why we need to point out,
Yes.
as many of you know,
Yeah.
you passionate iRacing enthusiasts, as you know,
iRacing.
there's downtime. There's maintenance tomorrow night. It affects our GSRC broadcast as well, Kisby, but more on that later. But the fact of the matter is iRacing's going down for maintenance, and the updates for Season 4 at 9 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time
But
tomorrow
usually
night.
it's 11, so...
That's right. They've
they're
changed
2
the
hours
racing
earlier.
times. They're mucking us around, but it'll be interesting because in about 4 weeks' time, it'll be 10 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time if it remains 11. That's
Well,
Eastern
for
Daylight
us,
Time.
Victorians.
That's right. For those of you in progressive and civilized parts of the country, and then it'll be 11 o'clock come the end of October. So it'll end up getting back to where it was, but just in an unconventional way. Yeah, of course, the Season 4 patch updates come out tomorrow night. So hence, to make the best of a bad situation, top 10 shootout tomorrow night, and then special time Thursday night, 7:45. We go racing for 250 kilometers, 41 laps of the Mt Panorama circuit. Right now, after building all the suspense, round points, round 12. Let's go.
Here we go.
The round winner was Sean McNamara. Have a look at that. And everything else is not coming up the way we want it to, but what we can tell you is that Sean McNamara has won the round. And mate, that's if we can get you to come back to us, that's the icing on the cake of what's been a difficult season. It's nice to finish on a high, but it must fuel the fire to come back and really give it a crack and take it to these guys, including your teammate in Season 3.
Yeah, absolutely. It's excuse me, like I said before, it is brilliant to finish. Love coming to this place. I flow, I click with it, and I really enjoy racing here. But let's get on with next season, and it'd be nice to take it to Dylan and Aaron when he's in and about. But you know what, I reckon there'll be a few other quick names popping in for next season as well, and you got Jamie as well. We had a bit of a...
That's for sure.
It's
So Simon Chadwick was third for the round. If Simon's still on, jump into Discord, mate. We'd love to have a chat to you. Jump into the green room here. And Jamie Dyke's second for the round, who we'll get to in just a moment. There's other business to talk about with Jamie in just a moment. If you're just joining us, post-race show, the end of the season, we're going to be here for a while. Rehan Leonage holding on, to Dylan Rudd as well. And Sean McNamara has got himself the round win here on the back of a 6th place in race 1 and a win in race 2. That's what's coming up on the platforms of SimShed. Okay, sorry. Now,
Do what you're told, Zach.
I'm doing as I'm told for the moment. We're getting a different feed to you at home, so just ignore what I just said there. I will get to what's on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting at the back end of the broadcast. The joys of live television. Let's bring in Rehan Leonage and Dylan Rudd at this point in time, guys, because I think we know that Dylan Rudd's won the championship. We're waiting for calculations with regards to second place by virtue of what happened to Rehan Leonage in that second race. And unfortunately, Rehan, we were always expecting some sort of carnage in that second race. It's just a shame that you got caught up as part of the collateral damage there, mate. Just talk us through it from your standpoint, and then the struggle to persevere with the damage until you eventually decided to park it, buddy.
Yeah, well, it was an unlucky race for us there. It was not avoidable for us at the back there in the contact on lap 1 because it was basically a roadblock there. May not have seemed like that, but on the inside there were people going through, so I couldn't go through there. And on the outside there were cars in front parked across the track, so just ended up T-boning them, and yeah, unlucky there. And then I think somewhere around, I'm not sure what lap it was for the race leaders, but for me I think it was lap 12 or 13, and engine just blew. Engine temperatures and everything were fine. Didn't even hit the rev limiters or anything, and just blew the engine, and then I had 21 minutes of required repair, so just had to park there.
Disappointing way to end what's been a marvellous season from you, mate. I mean, you'll take a lot out of this season in terms of your growth as a racer, in terms of your achievements, and you should be very proud of all of that. But it must be disappointing to get up to that point of the season, to that final race where second was on the line. You needed to finish. You needed to get the better of Jamie, and Dylan was obviously out of the picture as well. And then for it all to come unstuck for circumstances very much beyond your control, that's got to hurt.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, don't really have any comment.
Yeah, what else can you say to that, Zach? Come on.
Well, I mean, that being said, for the young bloke, I mean, Kisby, we've watched on in awe at his achievements
look.
this season, just as Matt did last season in the Super 2E series. This guy's going places in the sim world. There's no doubt about that.
Well, as I said during the broadcast, they don't give this guy a racing car license. He'll be sitting there in amongst all the Super V8s now, because we saw the absolute young gun of last season, Raider, overtaken by the absolute young gun of young Rehan this season, and it was just an absolute pleasure to watch him going through. And more about the points in the championship when we get on a little bit later.
That exactly right. Sean McNamara, Rainer Costello came in here and said during the broadcast, no more reverse grid races at Bathurst, please. I don't think you'd have a problem with it.
I thought that went really well.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it again.
Yeah, there you go. I think it worked out really good, and we should do it again.
All right. Well, we're just getting in our ears again for the second time, being reminded the option is either Mount Panorama or Chicago Street Circuit. Take your pick, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know via the platforms of Sim Shed Broadcasting. Dylan Rudd, let's bring you in right now, mate. Similar state of affairs here, because like Rehan, you got caught up inadvertently in that lap one incident. Not the way that you want to finish the championship. But by virtue of the fact that you had 153 points up your sleeve over Rehan going into that, it was as good as done. So you didn't require a finish in that last race to cement it, unless Rehan obviously swept the night by taking a clean race and the race win in that second race. That's the only way he could have beaten you if you didn't finish. It must disappoint you to finish the season that way. A season that's just been fantastic from you from first until last. Congratulations on the title, but just not being able to put the cherry on top of the cake. How do you feel?
Yeah, thanks. It was a little disappointing to have the second race ended on lap one. Yeah, see, stoked to have won the championship, but unfortunate end to the second race.
Indeed, mate. We're going to talk more to you about that in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, can I reveal to you right now the DSL Welding Triple Crown final points, please?
Oh,
happens every time.
It happens every time. We're going to come. We're going to have to come back and have a look. We've got some tech issues, folks. JP will be working on that feverishly behind the scenes while we wait. It says Dylan Rudd's on top there. We'll get back to him in just a moment. Let me bring in Jamie Dyke at this point in time, mate. You gave it your absolute everything tonight. A 5th and an 8th.
Whoa, there we go.
Wow.
Holy
There we
moly.
go.
Jesus.
I won again.
So Dylan Rudd by a okay. DSL Welding Services Triple Crown unofficial points. Dylan Rudd 703 plays Jamie Dyke 702. Are you bloody kidding me?
What did I tell you? What are we? That second race?
We had 1 point separating the 17-round championship in the first season, and now the Triple Crown separated by a point in the second season. Who's writing these scripts, Kisby?
Not me, but I'm getting them right.
Unbelievable. Simon Chadwick third. So Simon's in the room. We're going to have a chat to him in just a moment. Rehan Leonage, unfortunately, with that retirement, slips to 4th in the Triple Crown points. Peter Crossingham 5th and Craig Short 6th, just over Matthew Scholes, just over Dean Reddit. Have a look at some of these margins. 6 or 8 for Dylan Pereira, unfortunately, a shocker of a night for him as well. And Dean Alessi rounded out the top 10 in the Triple Crown. We'll let those points scroll through. Let me bring in Jamie Dyke and Simon Chadwick at this point in time. Dylan's swept the pool, and by the narrowest of margins in one and by a pretty good margin in the rest. So we'll get back to Dylan in just a moment. Jamie Dyke, What's going through your mind right now? How are the emotions? Because at the end of the day, you've had a terrific night. You did everything you needed to do in terms of fighting for the titles, plural, and you've fallen 1 point short in the one that you had a true opportunity to win. I mean, well done on the race results there. As I said, 5th and 8th, but so unlucky as far as that Triple Crown is concerned, mate.
Yeah, thanks, boys. I'm quite annoyed with myself. I short filled probably 4.5 full laps worth of fuel, so I wasn't going to make it home.
No.
So yeah, and then I got carried away trying to catch Chrisdale and made that mistake at turn 2 and let Chadwick pass, and what could have been, eh?
So it ended up being
yeah, but what it is and what it was. Now, Jamie, I've been waiting for this all night because on the second on the second race there, I actually noticed how close you were, which wasn't picked up by the other guys. And I looked at it and I said, "Watch Jamie Dyke, because if something happens, then he's going to shoot up the leaderboard." And I watched you come out and I consolidate the position, and then at the pit stop, you actually come back out a lot further up, and I think it was about 14, 15 positions at the end of the race. But that was absolutely well done, and I don't know whether you realised it yourself how close you were at doing that. Now, I also did say that Rehan had to get back out on track, because if you made a mistake and were out, then Rehan could get back in front of you. So it was a real dice for that second position, and hats off to you, mate. An absolutely brilliant drive tonight to get yourself up into those things there. So that's all I've got to say about it. It was just unbelievable to watch.
Thanks, Kisby. Appreciate it.
Apart from the disappointment of that second race and the frustrations of short fueling, Jamie, talk us through the first race, mate, because that went really well for you.
Yeah, first race, car felt good, setup felt good. I had a kind of a risky setup on where the car felt like a shipping cruiser when it had full fuel on it, but it saved its tires really well and let me attack at the end. So there was a lot of good hard racing against the 9.5 boys in the last couple of laps, and I loved race 1. Love race 2. I love Bathurst.
Let's press on here and bring in Simon Chadwick at this point in time, because, mate, well done firstly on the round podium and then the Triple Crown podium as well. And like Jamie, you've just proven that consistency matters. Consistency pays off. Just getting to the checkered flag, keeping your nose clean around here, easier said than done, but you managed to do that tonight. You had a few moments. The elbows were out. The racing was fierce, but you brought it home with a 7th and a 6th, 3rd for the round, 3rd for the Triple Crown. Good night out.
Yeah, look, thanks, lads. Pretty decent. I actually was just got a text from Sean, was like, "Get the hell back on. You've got P3." So I was like, "Hell yeah!" So here I am. So look, yeah, I've been chasing. It seems like I've been chasing Jamie Dyke for the past 6 rounds, and when I seen he unfortunately made that small mistake with Chrisdale, I thought, oh, this is just a golden opportunity to finally get past him. Probably not the way that I'd like to get past him, but hey, a position is a position. And yeah, so it's just finally good to speak to you guys. It feels great.
Yes, Simon, I'll come in just here, Zach. Simon, it brings me back to the point where we all look at the front runners, first, second, third, but the battles further back in the championships in different point systems, and the way that you guys fight, and you've all got your own fights to go through. That goes through your mind while you're racing, doesn't it? You know the guys out in front are out in front, and they're going to take the championship, but you guys in the middle pack and fighting for those lower positions, it's still important to you guys, isn't it?
100%, no doubt about it. When you're fighting for that, I guess positions 4 to 10, it's fantastic. Like, I know Jamie's a couple of positions ahead of me, but the points are only 20 points. Those points over a couple of rounds are so crucial. And I know JP always bangs on about just finish the race, just finish the race. It doesn't matter if you're P20th. That is still 40 points for the championship. So yeah, even though we're getting the dribs and drabs, and a couple of other guys are getting podiums and stuff, if you're consistently in the P5 to P10, you're gonna be there. You're gonna be behind the guys. You won't be right up there, but it definitely helps. It's just unfortunate I had a pretty average first 3 or 4 rounds, and I actually don't know what I've ended up, but yeah, it's definitely worth battling for 100%.
I'll just step in on that one quick, Kisby, as well, and just mention that with Simon still battling for it. Mate, we know you're the one to always read through the rule book and everything, and to prove of battling, you're the one that pulled out all the stops, and I believe it was at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, where you drove the Mustang all the way back to the pits under its own, or not own steam, but the starter motor steam, and that's just goes to show how committed and desperate some people are to this championship, and not cop at that the cool down lap penalty, I should say.
Mate, those 6 points for the 43 minutes, honestly, if the stream's still on the 9.5 page, go check it out. It is absolutely hilarious. Everyone's literally cheering me on. I think, but I'm not sure if you guys, the commentators, were on it.
We were cheering you on. Don't worry about that.
There you go. So yeah, that 6 points was worth the 43 minutes, and for some odd reason, JP then added a rule afterwards. I don't know why, but
I wonder why.
It was the longest cool down lap in history. It was the post race show that had to include commentary of the cool down lap for very obvious reasons. It was one of the bizarre standout moments of the season. I'm glad Matt Davis actually brought that up and pointed that out. Actually, Matt, speaking of which, when you need to bail, don't do it without promoting FU suicide and everything else, mate.
Oh, mate, I'm here till the end, mate, and I'm also here for a bit of a drink afterwards and to have a recap of what the Super Series was off air.
I'm in. I've got. It just so happens that by coincidence and chance, I have some cold ones in the fridge, and I might crack one with you afterwards. That's a good idea. I'll even swap over to the laptop on Discord here so that we can have a FaceTime in the Discord world. Let's bring in Rehan Leonage at this point in time. It's disappointing as far as the Triple Crown is concerned to see you drop out of the top 3 there. But what do you take out of this season as a whole, and how much fuel is there and fire is there in the belly, ready to have a crack at season 3, please?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of fire burning in there for season 3, and overall in this season, I'd say what I took out of it was more about the racecraft and like not to just give away positions, actually like put my elbows out, and I really did get a lot out of the season, but most of it was more racecraft and doing some more laps around Bathurst really gave me some more experience and gave me a little bit more of an edge compared to last season.
Well said.
Absolutely.
Can I just jump in there quickly, Zach? Just a comment for Rehan. Mate, you are driving well beyond your years, and your dad knows what I think of you as a driver. And you had in that first race there, you had Aaron Dodd putting bulk pressure on you, and you guys ran side by side up the hill, and it was a pleasure to watch. And you wouldn't know that you're watching a young fella, mate. So hold your head high and get into it next season. You're going to be a force.
I think that's that's said by quite a lot of people in the sim world as well. I think across the board, across all of RSRA, and across the officials as well. I mean, the officials in the official races of iRacing, they knew how young Rehan was. I think they'd be saying the same thing. So definitely hold your head high, Rehan. And it was an absolute privilege last season seeing you, really find your groove in the racing, and see you now step up into the Super Series and really give it to the guys that are seasoned veterans.
Indeed, and I have to say as well, when you're getting a pat on the back like that from a stalwart of the RSRA Super Series like Sean McNamara, it speaks volumes, doesn't it, Matt?
It sure does. I mean, Macca, we know he's a well-seasoned veteran. He's a championship winner, and he's a masterclass driver, as you saw tonight. And to get a pat on the back from one of the leading RSRS drivers, that's really saying something, especially only after 2 seasons.
Now, because I know what I'm doing, I've been holding the suspense here. Apparently, I'm doing a Kimi Räikkönen. Leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. However, I have been prompted about one thing that we haven't got to yet. Not that we'd forgotten about it. We're just caught up in conversation here. Let's rip the Band-Aid off and put these poor blokes out of their misery. Had the championship finish up, please. And for those of you that are thinking that there's a strobe light going on, no, it's just the one remaining car in the pit lane flashing its headlights. Have a look at that. 1923 for Dylan Rudd. Gets the job done by 163 points in the end. That was known, that was fact, that he was going to wrap up the championship. The margin was what was unknown. Jamie Dyke misses out on second by 14 points. That really tightened up in the end there.
It did.
105 back to Dylan Pereira. Peter Crossingham in 5th place and Simon Chadwick 6th. Dean Reddit, Dan Alessi, Craig Schultz, and Matthew Scholes make up the top 10. Over the page, where did the rest of the guys end up? Sean McNamara, 11th in the end. Jeez, he really trumped up the order tonight, didn't he? And then Brian Cooper, Aaron Dodd. Good finish for Dodd. Alan Dawson. And then Hayden Norris, Alex Court. In fact, that's interesting. We didn't even mention Court tonight, not once.
No.
But more on that later. Lindsay Hobbs, Chris Barnes, Sam Noble, and Cameron Jones as well. Dean Powell, 21st in the end, got the better of David Kirby, Rod Hollis, Mitch Campbell, Brenton Nitschke, Ben Morris slipped to 26th. Rainer Costello, despite only doing half the season, was 27th. Michael Angus, Robert Crisdale, and Rick Sibra made up the top 30. We'll let that keep scrolling for you. We're looking ahead now towards season 3 in just a few moments. But firstly, Dylan Rudd, congratulations, mate. You've done the double.
Well done,
You've
mate.
got the Triple Crown by the narrowest of margins. I mean, who could bloody believe that? You can't write those scripts any better than that. And you've got the championship relatively comfortably in the end. You put it together across the course of 11 weeks and made the job a little bit easier for you tonight than it otherwise could have been. The pressure was off coming to that second race. And I mean, with the exception of getting caught up in that garbage at the start of that last race there, mate, you put a perfect season together. There must be a few words that you have to say and a few thank yous you have as well.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I'm pretty stoked to wrap up the Triple Crown and the championship. Yeah, season was a fairly clean season. A few mistakes at the start in the first couple of rounds, but overall, pretty good season. Yeah, thanks to all the guys at 9.5. Good guys, love working with them. So yeah, pretty stoked for and keen for the next one.
Absolutely. Stick around. I'll get your thoughts on that in just a few moments. Jamie Dyke, second in the Triple Crown, third in the championship. Well done. Again, it's a hallmark of your consistency throughout the course of the season, mate. We didn't spend too much time talking about you at the pointy end of town. You flew under the radar for a fair bit of that, but in the end, it was tonight that made all the difference in the end. The bad luck for Dylan, the bad luck for Rehan. You've got yourself a championship podium times 2. Well done.
Oh, thanks, mate. Yeah, it's quite good after the feeling around 1 when you blow an engine and
Yeah.
have to make a comeback. But no, very stoked with the season, and yeah, well done, Dylan and Rehan. They've been tremendous throughout the championship. Ultimately,
Indeed they have.
flawless.
Yeah.
So where were you aiming for at the beginning of the championship there, Jamie? I know you picked up third. And realistically, what was your hope?
I was hoping for a top 5.
Yeah, well, you've done that.
Coming into qualifying for the first couple rounds, I really didn't see myself being anywhere near it. But I came up with a strategy that I was going to put in place every race, same strategy, and the strategy worked out. And yeah, you can add, like last week, you can come from a crash on lap 1 to run in the top 10. Stick to what works, I guess.
But in all seriousness, Zach, I mean, we haven't talked to Jamie very much in the respect of the top 3.
Correct.
So it shows you how much consistency and being consistent in that top 10 can get you up the order. And all hats off to you, mate. It's great. Dylan, absolutely fantastic to watch you through the season. I'll just get a quick word in here to you there. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch you and the way that you've gone about your craft throughout the season. Did you expect to be this high or take out the championship, or were you once again in the top 5? What were your expectations on the championship?
Coming into the season, I didn't really have expectations for the championship overall, but yeah, I was just taking it round by round at the start. Didn't really have any expectations, so yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
It's just an absolute pleasure to watch you, mate. Absolute pleasure.
And that goes for all of us as well, Dylan. I mean, we were wondering who was going to take the fight to Reina Costello in the absence of Lassif Leonage. We were absorbed in the fight between you guys in the first couple of rounds. We marveled in the rising star that is Rehan Leonage, but at the end of the day, mate, once it became clear that Reina wasn't going to be a championship contender, we have just watched you excel week in, week out. You withstood the pressure at the Twin Ring Motegi a couple of weeks ago, and then happened to look back. It was a bloody marvelous performance from you throughout the course of the last 12 weeks. Well done. Celebrate hard with the 9-5 Sim Sport team. I'm not going to lie, folks. I'm loving that strobe effect at the moment down there. Actually, but let's be honest.
Your attention.
They
are they're flashing its lights.
That's exactly right. They are taking the piss, and I'm going to say that advisedly. If they think that those headlights are lighting it up that much, let me tell you. But in the meantime, let's throw the conversation around here because we are at 20 minutes to 11. Socceroos and Vietnam underway as well, guys. Socceroos and Vietnam 0-all AFC Asian qualifiers for next year's FIFA World Cup. Let me bring in at this point in time Dean Powell, because I need you guys to acknowledge your sponsors and everything else for the round for starters here, guys. So Dean Powell, then Simon Chadwick, then Sean McNamara, please.
Yeah. Okay. So just want to thank a couple of new sponsors that have come on board only in the last week. MJB Laser, LCJ Carpentry, and Ferris Shifters, and all the boys at E1 Sim Racing for all their support.
Let's go now to Simon Chadwick, please.
Yeah, look, huge shout out to you guys for commentating and doing all the behind the scenes. I don't think some people realize just how much it takes to run a league, especially broadcasting, commentating, and huge shout out to JP and like literally everyone behind the scenes. And 9-5 guys, thank you for your support throughout the season. Specifically Sean, he has definitely gone way and beyond any team manager and just helps the guys out day in, day out, whether it's sim racing, life, or anything like that. And huge shout out to our sponsors, SRT Australia, Racecraft Simulations, Bauer Media. Matthew providing those photos are on point. Boss Surveillance Systems, iClean Solar, Ipswich and Brisbane, Racing Ears, Custom Ear Protection, 3D printing services, Cutting Edge Tracks, and RSW Graphics. Thanks to all those guys. They help out immensely. So thank you.
And next we'll hear from the man himself, Sean McNamara. Go for it, mate.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Look, thanks for a great season to you and Mr. Kisby for brilliant commentary, and JP for the brilliant series. No doubt this is the best.
You guys.
True, but you know what? This has been the best season of any season that I've raced in with these guys. So the racing has been next level. So looking forward to the next one. But look, well done to, again, Dylan for championship and all the boys in 9-5 Sim Sport. I do have a ball looking after you, and it is a bit of fun. But sponsors, can't do it without them. So SRT Australia, Racecraft Simulations, Racing Ears, Custom Ears Protection, iClean Solar, Ipswich and Brisbane, Cutting Edge Tracks Australia, Bauer Media, Boss Surveillance, AD3D. We did have to get him to change his name, as it was AD3D 3D printing services, and RSW Graphics. So massive shout out to all of those guys.
Now, stick around, Mr. McNamara, because I'm coming to pick your brain about a more important pressing topic in just a moment. But before that, we're going to hear from JP in a few moments as well, because he's got a few people that he wants to thank and a couple of things that he wants to say. We'll hear from him before the end of the broadcast. Don't go anywhere. Don't go to bed just yet. Plenty to see and do as the sun sets on the famous Mt Panorama circuit. And the sim server now reads 6:06 on the 7th of the 9th. That's PM. 7th of the 9th, 2021. And that's not far off, I reckon. Sun might have set, might have been a little bit out of sync there with what real world sunset time was this afternoon in that beautiful part of the world. But what a sight it is. How good does that sunset look? iRacing, oh, mate, they've got a lot to be proud of. There's no doubt about that. Matt Davis, let me bring you in at this point in time. The guys have already mentioned the work that goes in behind the scenes. From a commentary standpoint, we play such a small part. We are the lucky ones in what is a well-oiled, well-polished machine.
Yeah, I mean, look, the both series, the Super Series and Super 2 series, us as commentators, Chris Kisby, Zach Gabe, and myself, Matt Davis, we're only a very small part of this team. We're the voices of RSRA, but they're the minds of JP, Sean McNamara, Lasses Leonage. Then you got the race control on the back end of that, Jonathan Bain, and the rest of that crew, Todd Main, Craig Schultz, and the safety car drivers as well, Leif Davis and Craig Schultz. You've got so many people in the background that don't get enough mention to make this series what it is, and then you can't forget about the sponsors either. The sponsors are the ones that are putting their names out there, putting the money forward so we can make all this happen. Get everybody on the series, and it's just it's we can't thank them enough.
We've got race control standing by. Actually, Jonathan's joined us in the booth.
Hey, Jonathan Bain, here he is.
We will get to him in just a moment. We are going to wrap this up very shortly, guys. But there's a couple of things we want to touch on first. A, what do you do with your off season now, the next 2 weeks? And B, we're going to get Sean to rip the Band-Aid off and reveal some details with regards to season 3. Let's and then I'll get Jonathan in for a few words here. Dylan Rudd. As the man that will go into season 3 as the defending champion, looking to maintain the number 1. How do you spend the next couple of weeks, mate? Do you put your mind on some officials? Do you have a little bit of time off? How do you keep yourself in shape, in focus for season 3? If Dylan's there, yep, there he is.
Yep. Just chill out a bit. Yeah.
Just chill out a bit. I like that. I was going to say, you sound tired, so I can appreciate you staying around as long as you have, and I can understand why the answers are short, sharp, and sweet. Just we'll get some thoughts now from Rehan Leonage as well. What are you going to get up to over the next couple of weeks, mate? I mean, not much to do in lockdown Victoria. Will it be sim time? Will it be rest? Will it be focus on the school work and the homeschool stuff? How are you going to spend the next couple of weeks, buddy?
I'll be chilling for a bit. I'll also be doing some practice for Bathurst for the first round of official series. So I reckon I'll be doing a lot of official races there. But other than that, mostly doing my schoolwork, homework, and everything, and chilling for a bit. That's about it.
That's it. The officials, the Bathurst 1000 officials come up in a couple of weeks. That's right. Nicely pointed out from Rehan Leonage. Right. I apologise to everyone for keeping you around so long, but there's been a fair bit to go through and dissect tonight. I appreciate you guys staying around as long as you have. We're not done yet, but let me bring in Sean McNamara at this point in time. You touched on it earlier there that it doesn't happen without sponsors, mate. How easy, how difficult have you found it to attract sponsors to sim racing? Has it been something that's been easier under the cover of COVID? Has it been something that's been easier as sim racing broadcasts are becoming a more prominent thing across platforms of social media and YouTube and the like? And what are they actually making of the product that you guys are delivering?
Yeah, look, it's a really good question. We've been lucky to partner with a couple of companies inside of the sim world, and with SRT Australia and Racecraft, obviously with John and Nathan there. I supported them I'm a big believer of great customer service and things like that. So I reached out to John and Nathan, and they were very eager to jump on board with us. And along the journey, we've just been lucky to pick up, just some great partners, really. The whole COVID piece certainly shed a light once the E-Series kicked off, and it became obviously quite prevalent, out there that you've got Foxtel and all these different, and of course the lovely channels of SimShed broadcasting all this stuff. But that made a big difference for us, and the old sponsor list is great, and we truly support everything they do, and it's the same for every team. You look at all the cars, up and down our grid. There's sponsors of varying degrees of different types of industries and all sorts of stuff. So it is pretty cool. It is good, and definitely getting stronger and stronger, this whole industry and market.
Terrific to get your insight on that, mates. Appreciate that. And before we talk about the calendar, can I just go back to Jamie Dyke, mate? The fact that it was second and third in the two championships, how hungry does that make you to push forward and try to be a more regular, prominent feature in our broadcast? Because as we said, you flew under the radar all season. What sort of prep do you put into the next 2 weeks in readiness for season 3 to try and go one better or two better, depending upon which championship you're talking about?
Not a lot really. I'll wait for prequel to kick off, and then I'll start working on some setups. Won't do much race practice. Tinker around with the car.
I just get this feeling that it might still be sinking into Jamie Dyke that he's been second and third in the two championships. An extraordinary performance throughout the course of the season. A little bit, yeah, exactly. Right, Sean, let's talk about what we can look forward to in season 3, my friend. I know pre-qualifying will be a feature. Give me all the details you can, my friend.
Certainly will. We'll keep some up our sleeve. But look, pre-qual is going to be a similar format to last season. Won't give away the tracks just yet. We'll save that. But it'll be the same format. 3 tracks across 3 nights. All 3 tracks on the same nights across 3, I should say. 8 laps, best 8 laps that you can do in a qualifying format. So no incidents, no one times, no nothing. So really, really tough. Tough to get those 8 laps in, and it's certainly set the field really well this season. So I think if there's certainly something to take out of it, is that it really did put the right groups of people together. So we're looking forward to that, and there is 3 very different and challenging tracks. So it's not going to be a cakewalk. And then obviously throughout the season, we've got the Triple Crowns again. We've got the Super Sprints. We've got endurance races. We're actually upping the Super Sprint kilometres from we were doing around 130, 140 Ks. We're now doing 150 Ks, and then the sprints will go up to 160 Ks. And the Triple Crown events will actually be a 200-kilometre event. So that's going to be pretty exciting. And of course, we're going to round the season out with a certain 1,000-kilometre race right here at Mt Panorama.
I was going to say, when you said certain for the moment, I was really hoping you didn't say a circuit other than Bathurst. That would really try to cut amongst the pigeons, wouldn't it? But, mates, just eke out a little bit more detail for me. Obviously, how long do we have to wait for season 3 to launch, please?
We'll be kicking off towards the end of September. So at this stage, 28th of first round, of course. 28th of September is the plan. So we've got a couple of weeks off. And it will be an 11-round series this season. Because obviously with the Bathurst 1000, we'll combine the 2 fields at the back end. So it's a slightly shorter season, but a few more twists and challenges thrown in.
And so that we can set the countdown clocks, given that it is 11 rounds, and no doubt we were thinking 12, so we had in our minds that it would be December 19 for the 1000. Is that now going to be a week earlier, or is there going to be an off week during the season somewhere, please?
Stage, it will be the 12th.
Okay, so Sunday, December 12th. I apologise in advance to all you cricket fans, because that clashes with day 5 of the first test of the Ashes, but be here first. We'll wrap up. Then you can go and watch the last session of the test match should England survive that long. If they can't beat India on home turf, I don't hold high hopes for them beating the Aussies here, especially at the Gabba. But December 12th, lock it in. That will be the Bathurst 1000 for 2021. And dare I say, it could be the only one, because the real world one, in terms of in December time, because they're talking about the real world one being in December. And even then, that's a stretch given the COVID situation in New South Wales at the moment. Not that I wanted to bring that up, but it's a fact of reality at this point in time. Sean, thank you for your insights there. So September 28th, 3 weeks tonight, we reconvene for season 3. 11 weeks, so that'll be 17, 12, and 11. So it'll be 40 weeks of racing for the season. And like what you've seen throughout the course of the year, we will most likely have a top 10 shootout for that Bathurst 1000. So therefore, we will still have 11 Tuesday nights of broadcasting, but then the season extends an extra 5 days and finishes on the Sunday. So again, fill the esky, sit on the couch, park it there for 8 hours. We've got you covered on Sunday, December 12, and we can hardly wait for that. Kisby, Davis, Caben here for the duration. It's going to be fantastic. Now, have I forgotten to come to anyone with regards to thanking their sponsors? And I apologise in advance if I have. Simon Chadwick, Sean McNamara, I think I've already heard from you. Rehan, I haven't heard from you yet, mate. You've got some sponsors to thank, no doubt.
Yeah. Bring it up. I would like to thank Simshed Broadcasting, Nationwide Technology Systems, Goodyear Autocare, Warana, Dragon RC, Diesel Welding Services, Brutzy Australia, VR Covers, Cars for Hope, Racing with Autism Australia, Blue Stampede Labour Hire. I'd also like to thank my friends and family who've been sticking through this season. I know they may have dropped off somewhere in it, but still, thanks for watching. And I'd also like to thank you guys up here in the commentary booth and all of the people behind the scenes for setting up this series. And I'd also just like to mention something else, that next season I'll be in a new team, new colours and new boss. So
New colours, new boss. Interesting times for young Rehan Leonage. But I must say, one of the things I'm looking forward to already about next season is the battle between Costello and Leonage. I think it's going to be on in earnest. Young Costello, young Leonage, after young Costello and older Leonage did battle in season 1. And Costello just can't escape the Leonages at the moment, but he's got Dylan Rudd to worry about as well. Thanks to Dylan Rudd, he's had to bolt because he starts work in 4 hours. I didn't realize that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have kept him this long. Now, before I get to race control, anyone else got any final thoughts or anything that they want to throw in here from a driver standpoint? And then I'll let you guys go if that's the case. All right. Simon Chadwick, Sean McNamara, Rick Sibra, thank you so much. Rehan Leonage, so to Jamie Dyke, Dean Powell. Thanks for sticking around so long, guys. We really appreciate it. Well done on the performances throughout the night and the season. Enjoy the break. Good luck in pre-qualifying. Rigorous, strenuous task that is. We'll talk more about that in week 1 of the new season, and we'll see you back here in 3 weeks, guys. Thank you so much.
Look out for Tassie Oil Racing.
Yes, exactly. Hey, Jonathan Bain, welcome to Race Control. Welcome to Race Commentary from Race Control. Well done to have you guys do your thing throughout the course of the season. Many hands make light work. Tonight, they wouldn't have made your task easy, but next time, can you not disqualify the safety car driver, please?
Yeah, that's a learning experience, and I will admit it's my first mistake of the season, personally. So I'm happy with that. I saved the best for last.
100%. Poor old Lee Davis got an early mark that he wasn't anticipating, but mate,
no, he actually asked for it, and I tried to check. Well, because we didn't want him getting pole for the reverse grid, so we're like, do we just start pit lane, or do we kick him out? We're like, I'll kick him out. We'll clear it after. Unbeknownst, I haven't done enough of this to know that I can't clear a DQ.
You can't do it.
Actually, that's a good point from Matt Davis. We're going to show you some highlights of this race now, folks, while the sun sets at Mt Panorama, because it is now pitch black there on the mountain. We're not done yet. It's just a couple of thoughts from Jonathan, a couple of comments from JP, and then we're going to reflect on the season that was and sit in here and have a chat post broadcast wrapping up and enjoy one another's company for a little bit longer. Get some final thoughts from Davis and Kisby before we sign off as well. But Jonathan, from a race control standpoint, the standard all season's been fantastic. I mean, you guys have taken no prisoners where penalties have had to be awarded and applied. You've done so with no favour, no favoritism, I should say. You've probably made a few frenemies along the way, to use a useful expression here. But from a race control standpoint, you must be proud of the show that these guys have put on over the course of the last 12 weeks. It makes turning up a heck of a lot easier, doesn't it?
Oh, it definitely does. I've said it to the drivers a few times. You know, through the season, the race craft has stepped up. And you can see that reflected in the penalty sheets. It's been less and less for us to do as the season's gone on, because they've learnt to race together. They've learnt to race a bit harder, but a bit fairer. Which you know, I've loved watching. Like, don't get me wrong, it gets frantic, and we've made mistakes, we've corrected mistakes, and we wear them. Yeah, we get a bit from a few of the people. We've had a few mouthfuls, and we've straightened them out. And some people have actually then come to work in race control and enjoy it.
Yep.
So yeah, it's an interesting experience.
Kisby chiming in, been there, done that, hasn't he? Hasn't he ever? Now, John, I just, as we finish here, mate, from your standpoint, I mean, you listen to someone like Sean McNamara say that we get in here and we have a lot of fun, but the fact that you guys do cop the mouthfuls you get from time to time, and, you know, sometimes on a weekly occurrence, you know, you can set your clock by it on a Tuesday night sometimes. It just goes to show how seriously these guys really take it.
Oh, definitely, and that's why, you know, working with the guys on the other nights and working in the race control group, you know, we're always looking to move it forward and bring the consistency up and find a better way to do things, and, you know, and that's a credit to the guys and girls we've got in race control. Just, you know, we find the drivers find a grey area. We have to find a black and white to rule it. And I've said to the drivers on more than one occasion, I don't like giving you penalties. Don't give me a reason to give you a penalty, and you'll have a great night.
Exactly right. And Chris Kisby, from your own experience in race control, everything Jonathan says there rings true, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, it does. And the other thing I used to say to the drivers was, if I have to throw a yellow flag, it's your time wasted, not mine.
Exactly. Thankfully, we don't have time certain finishes in the RSRA SuperSeries, though, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Jono, what do you guys look to as far as, you know, season 3 is concerned? I mean, obviously, the registrations have been huge. The interest is there. From a race control standpoint, have you guys made any notes of what you'd like to improve, or what you can do better, or what, you know, anything that you guys take out of this season and translate into next season?
Oh, look, we try not to move the goalpost during the season, but there's been a few things pop up that we want to tidy up and make a bit more clear cut for the drivers. There's been a few questions around the same things, which that there's a few of us in race control that have spoken about stuff and got on the same page. And over the next week, we'll work with the rest of the guys and girls in race control and hopefully find a designated black and white page that we can put forward. And that way it's one rule for all, and it'll make it simpler for the guys. You know, it's different people, different nights has challenges, but we have had people that are crossing over between the nights to help get that consistency, and so that the Tuesday don't get the easy run and Wednesday cop all the, we missed this last night, so you're going to cop it. So look, it's if things weren't changing, we wouldn't be learning, and if we weren't learning, we're not doing it right. So
yeah, exactly right, mate. Very nice to have you in here for a chat finally at the very end of the season. Thank you to you and all the dedicated crew who show up week in, week out to make it happen. I mean, it is the fact that we do have so many bums on seats in race control, so many eyes on the action, is one of the reasons why this series is establishing itself as the standard in sim racing circles at the moment. And I mean that so sincerely. And I'm sure that goes from Matt Davis and Chris Kisby as well. And
absolutely.
On that note, we need to bring in the man that makes it all happen at the very top end of town. my sometimes co-commentator in the Weekend Warriors Cup Car Series, the one and the only JP, mate. Good evening to you. It doesn't happen without race control. It doesn't happen without drivers, and it doesn't happen without sponsors. Some thoughts from you on the season and some thank yous as well, please.
Yeah, Zach. Look, it's been an absolute cracker of a season. Like Sean said, it's probably been the best season that we've had so far. We tend to say that at the end of every season, but it's true, and we're always looking to raise the bar in the next season. But no, this has been fantastic, and the level of support that we've not only had from the drivers, but from all the people behind the scenes. Without those people, especially without the people behind the scenes, none of this could happen, because this whole idea started a little over 12 months ago as a one-man show, and it's grown exponentially now. And we've got a crew of probably over a dozen or more people that oversee this series and how it's run.
Absolutely right. Now, anything else you want to add before we get some final thoughts from Mr. Davis and Mr. Kisby, mate? It's the floor is yours right here and now.
Look, I want to send out some big thank yous to everybody that had a hand in race control this season. I'd like to send out a thank you to all of the admin team. We started last season with handing out a MVP, Most Valuable Player award to somebody. This season, we're going to be sending out the Most Valuable Player award to Lee Davis, our safety car driver. Lee shows up every week, and he's been showing up every week since season 2 as our safety car driver. Sees barely any lap time, and just keeps coming back and helping out in race control and driving the safety car. So we really appreciate that. And of course, I want to send out big props to all of our sponsors, because without them, we couldn't run this show. So I'd like to send out a big thank you to our very good friends at Nationwide Technology Systems, Devon Stove Designs, FU Suicide, Track Cams for Gourmets. Without these guys, we wouldn't have the quality camera angles that you see on these broadcasts. SDK Gaming for creating the custom overlays that you see, that will soon be available through SDK Gaming too, for anyone wanting to run a V8 supercar style overlay. Also want to send a big shout out to Blue Stampede Labour Hire, to Goodyear Autocare Warana, Racecraft Simulations, and DSL Welding. And I'd also like to announce our major sponsors for next season, with Goodyear Autocare Warana and DSL Welding stepping up as our major sponsors. And we will have an announcement very shortly as to who will be sponsoring the Triple Crown series.
And also, no doubt, the Bathurst 1000 as well, mate.
Absolutely.
JP, from the commentary team to you, mate, thank you for making our job as easy as you do each and every week. The information, the on-screen graphics, the data, the memos that you send through our earpiece during the broadcast as well, mate. We've greatly appreciated it, and we've enjoyed working with you throughout the course of the season here. Now, Rehan Leonage has just dropped out, and we're going to drag him back in here. Chris Kisby, can I come to you now? And then I'm going to finish with Matt Davis, because I want him to probably get a few suicide on the way out here. Kisby, the emergence of Rehan Leonage is just one of many talking points that we take out of this season. Take nothing away from Dylan Rudd. Rehan was brilliant throughout the course of the season. There are drivers coming on leaps and bounds, and if old mate Sean McNamara could just buy a bit of luck in the first couple of weeks of the season next time out, he's going to be a contender as well. There's so much to be excited about for season 3.
Well, that's right, Zach. It's first up and foremost, it's been a real honour and a privilege to call these races for these guys, and to sit beside you through most of the season. As you know, we've had a bit of hiccups here and there because of outside influences, which still go on, but it's been an honour and a privilege to sit beside you and watch these guys go around the track. learn from these guys. I have noticed over in the TGSRC, my driving's got just that little bit better by watching these guys, and hopefully I can bring that over to this side of things next season. I'm thinking about bringing my team over, and we'll see what happens there. But week in, week out, to watch Dylan Rudd sit there and dominate the series, and then with the loss of Rayhan,
Rayner.
Rayner. Yeah, with the loss of Rayner, we saw young Rehan come in, and it was just absolute. And then watch at the end of the season, the unsung hero, Jamie Dyke there, sitting there coming up, and he sat under the radar right through the thing, and then right up until tonight. And I just noticed it, and I thought to myself, you watch this young fella, he's going to come through and pull off something swift here. Sean, bit of bad luck there throughout the races, but the pace was always there. As I've always said, it's what we sent it through the actual broadcast. It's 80% skill and 20% luck. Well, I think it was missed out on the luck there is young Sean. But yeah, absolutely privileged to be involved. Thank you, JP, for allowing that, and thank you, Zach, for letting me sit beside you, mate.
Mate, thank you for riding side saddle with me each and every week here. It's always good to have you on board and get your insights as well. Matt Davis, you've still got a couple of nights to go before you can sign off properly for the season, but here's the state of the night before we go. 33:41.523 was the race winning time in race 1. 55:44.186 for race 2. So in 89.5 minutes, these guys have clocked 42 laps. 41 is 25% race distance when we get back here in December. Under 6 hours for the 1,000 is well and truly on, given the pace we've seen from those guys tonight. But final thoughts from you, and a plug for Refuse Suicide on the way out. I can't wait for season 3. I know you can't wait for it either. And one of the interesting talking points of season 3 for me is not just going to be the who's who in the zoo of the two series, but then who establishes what combinations, whether you see the pro guys team up together, whether you see a pro and an AM guy or a pro and a dev guy team up, whether you see two dev young guns go at it, whether you get some outside influences being rung in for the Bathurst 1000. I cannot wait to start getting a grip of our driver combinations for that 1000, because everything in the next first 10 weeks of that 11-week season is going to be a build-up to the Holy Grail on December 12th.
Yeah, we'll start off with obviously the Bathurst 1000 at the end of the year. I think JP is going to be throwing a mix into that. I don't think, and don't take my word for it either, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think we'd be seeing pro and pro line up together. I think we're going to be throwing a mix with the drivers and doing it like the real life, and seeing a sort of a pro and a pro-am driver teaming up together and duking it out at Bathurst. We know, Gizzy and Wink Up sort of do get their better drivers out in the real life, but we might make it a little bit difficult for these guys. And we'll have to discuss that with obviously admin over the next coming 12 odd weeks to see what we're going to be doing for Bathurst. But overall, season 2 for the RSRA Super Series, what a season it's been. Dylan Rudd storming away with the championship after seeing such a contested season 1 championship. It looked like it was going to be contested again, but obviously Rainer Costello dropping out, unfortunately. And we'll hope to see him back next season and contesting for the number 1 plate. And we're pretty certain that Costello was going to get it this season as well, but obviously a little bit misfortune for him. But nevertheless, there is always one more season to go for the year. And what a season it's going to be. And obviously we've got the Super 2 Series wrapping up tomorrow night, top 10, or not tomorrow night, should I say. Thursday night it will wrap up, but top 10 shootout tomorrow night as well for the Super 2 drivers. And then Thursday night we'll wrap that up, and that'll be done and dusted all together for the RSRA for the Super 2 Series. And that'll be live to you from 7:50 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I just got a quick flash on my screen there. Yes. We might go live a little bit early like we did tonight, just to get a few formalities out of the way. And then we'll have to discuss that with obviously admin to see what we're going to be doing for Bathurst. But overall, season 2 for the RSRA Super Series, what a season it's been. Dylan Rudd storming away with the drivers and seeing such a contested season 1 championship. It looked like it was going to be contested again, but obviously Rainer Costello dropping out, unfortunately. And we'll hope to see him back next season and contesting for the number 1 plate. And we'll hope to see him back next season and especially for the boys at FU Suicide, myself at FU Suicide, who are all about the mental health awareness and suicide prevention and suicide awareness, and especially during these tough times at the moment during COVID-19. Mental health is one of the big things. You're cooped up inside. There's a lot of people doing it tough financially, and we're all about supporting those guys with the mental health. And I've obviously jumped on board the Black Dog Institute for Mullets for Mental Health Month, and we're currently taking donations to shave these glorious luscious locks off the back of my head. And I wish we could have got it on webcam for the viewers to see. It's getting there slowly. You boys saw it on the pre-race show.
Yeah, it's getting
as we're
there.
warming
All right.
up to get on air. But no, look, that'll be leaving the back of my head at the end of this month, and we're raising funds for that. So look, guys, head over to FU Suicide on Facebook. There is a pinned post at the top, and I'll put a saying call out now. If I can get $600 by Friday, or let's call it Sunday midnight, I will dye whatever color is commented on or gets the most likes on that status. I will dye the mullet, just the mullet alone, whatever color is liked the most. So that's something I'm putting it out. That is a very big call. So $600 by midnight Sunday night, Monday morning, and comment whatever color you guys would like to see on this rude head, and the color with the most likes, I will dye that and post it up and get JP to post it up amongst all our social media pages so everybody can see it. And we'll the target's $1,000 before the end of this month. So if we can get there, that'd be absolutely amazing.
I'm all in on yellow, but that's another story for another day. Well done, Matt Davis. Well done, Chris Kisby. Awesome effort from you tonight. Well done to all the drivers that have put on such a great performance throughout the course of the season as well. Let's have a look ahead on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting one last time this season, and that's what we've got to look forward to. RSRA Super 2E Series Top 10 Shootout, 7:50 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. Maybe a couple of minutes earlier. Keep an eye on your Facebook notifications for that. The grand finale, 41 laps, 250 kilometres, Thursday night, same time. And, of course, Weekend Warriors Cup car racing Saturday night from 7:20 as well. And then the RSRA Super Series will return with a new time attached to it, no doubt, because we've got to take into consideration all the time differences that come with October. Don't blame me when we bring you round one of the RSRA Super Series for the great people at Goodyear Autocare Warana. And DSL Welding will be sponsoring, I think it's the Dev 2 series. So looking forward to that and more from September 28 and 29, respectively. Until then, on behalf of Matt Davis, JP, Chris Kisby, Dean Reddit, all the people that have put their vocal cords to this soundtrack that has been the RSRA Super Series over the last 12 weeks, the Super 2E Series Grand Finale to come over the next 2 nights. Get amongst that if you can. Cup car racing at the weekend, but as far as the big dance and Tuesday night motorsport is concerned, we will see you in 3 weeks. Sean McNamara's not at the mountain. Dylan Rudd's championship. We've had fun over the last 12 weeks, and there are some big names to watch in Season 3. Not just Dylan Rudd, Aaron Dodd, Raina Costello, and Rehan Leonage, but a couple of others that are lurking there under the radar as well. We'll go now to toast the season that was and the champions that are Dylan Rudd, and of course, in tonight's case, Sean McNamara as well. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Zach Caban from the virtual Mt Panorama circuit. That's the way we do it. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.